6 and 11.
The colors of Penn State are up, and the Nittany Lions to the battle behind the truncheon called Enos. It is Richardson who carries the strong arm that mans the sword. Tommy Trojan's ranks include along the horizon. We'll see. ABC Sports presents Burger King College Football Today, where you get a great taste and great value every day. Get your burger's worth. The 14th Kickoff Classic, matching the University of Southern California Trojans of the Pac-10 and the Penn State Nittany Lions of the Big Ten. Late summer heat causing the haze across the Manhattan skyline and across the river and over into the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where sits Giant Stadium, and where this afternoon the Southern California Trojans and the Penn State Nittany Lions will have a go. And it should be and could be a tremendous amount of fun for everybody, but also a very important college football game that could last the entire season. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and welcome to this 31st consecutive year of college football on ABC television, this being the second game of our opening weekend of college football, and the Southern California Trojans come into Giant Stadium, bouncing and dancing. It is the moment when the warrior never feels better when he first enters the arena. If Penn State and Southern California can give us the same kind of a show today that we saw in Provo, Utah yesterday between BYU and Texas A&M, everybody's going to run out of wind. Now here come the Nittany Lions pounding into the stadium. Champions of the Outback Bowl last year. They won 9 games. Joe Paterno, of course, is a legend. Joe leads all Division I-A coaches in winning. We start this 1996 season with several different things. One, we have a rule that prevents ties. They've given us finally an overtime in which to settle the issue. There are some other rules we'll discuss later on. The Big 12 now exists, 4 Texas schools merging with the Big 8. The Western Athletic Conference is now 16 teams, and most everybody seems to think that Nebraska has a very good chance to three-peat. But both of these teams, I think, are capable of challenging anybody, and that includes Nebraska. But now let's turn to the subject with Bob Greasy, who is our analyst for a 10th season, if you can believe that. Grace, we must be having some fun because it doesn't feel like 10 years.
Well, Hoss, I've enjoyed the 9 years, and I'm looking forward to some more of them down-home sayings from you.
Let's talk about it now. We've got young folks. I mean, Southern California's offensive front is very tender.
Well, they've got 10 new starters on that offense, and all 5 of the offensive line, and they're young. And Brad Otten is an outstanding player, threw for almost 400 yards in the Rose Bowl game. He's got to be a little bit worried starting out this ball game with some offensive linemen he hardly knows.
Now, Penn State's got new people, but not so young in their offensive front, and also a veteran quarterback.
They start 8 new players on offense and 4 new offensive linemen, but they are all 4th-year and 5th-year offensive linemen, so they've got better players in their offensive front. The key for Penn State, Curtis Enos. He is an outstanding player. He loves to play the game. He has 4.5 speed. He is 230 pounds, and he can make a difference.
But both teams have a defense that'll part your hair.
At this time of the year, when you haven't been playing too long, the defense is always ahead of the offense, especially with all the new young players on the offenses.
Giant Stadium is a solid sellout. More than 77,000 people here for the ball game. Each team is going to take home right at $700,000 apiece, and they keep it all.
Final say, strike your gate and win. Victory we predict for thee. We're ever true to you, dear old white and blue. Onward state, roar, Lions, roar. We'll hit that line, roll up the score, fight
morning, good morning. It's nice to know that Kellogg's has lowered the price of many of your favorite cereals. The best to you each morning. But it's even nicer to know K-E-double-L-O double good. There are still some things you can't put a price on. Kellogg's best to you.
Work boots. Tough on the outside, tough on your feet inside. Not enough cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
This is for my grandfather, who always said I'd make the family proud. For my mom, who never let me out the door without my homework. For my dad, who worked the night shift to make our lives better.
Flight 3 Alpha. Spotted.
For myself. For my future.
Be all that you can be.
Athlete's foot. Why suffer the burning, the itching? Hit it hard with prescription strength Desonex. It has the same medicine that doctors prescribe. Nothing cures better. Nothing. Prescription strength Desonex, because prescription strength is strong medicine.
On the sideline of Giant Stadium for the Kickoff Classic, head coach of the Trojans, John Robinson. John, you've got a young offensive line. Have you had a chance to put everything you normally would put in for the first game of the year?
Oh, no. We're a long way away from that. But we got enough in here to win the game if we do it right. You know, it's not a better place in the world to be than right here, right now, with all these young kids on both sides. It's going to be a good game. Speaking of young kids, you got a true freshman, number 71, Travis Claridge, is going to start for you. I remember how emotional you were as an assistant coach when you gave an emotional challenge to Rod McNeil back in '72. What do you tell a kid in that position? I'm just going to stand behind him and shove him out on the field for the first I just had to have fun, man. That's what this is about. Playing your best, doing your best, enjoying it, having fun. Okay, it's a lot more fun when you win. Yes, sir. All right, Keith.
All right, we're ready for the kickoff. The Trojans are in receiving position. Penn State won the toss, and they chose to take the ball in the start of the second half. As we told you, Giant Stadium is sold out. They haven't had a lot of these in the Kickoff Classic, but when you bring in programs with the tradition and quality of these two and the legacy of these two great universities, you get this kind of a crowd, and it's really fun to see. Brett Conway is the kicker. And the deep people are Chris Miller and Dalen McCutcheon for Southern California. And the 14th Kickoff Classic is underway. High hanger deep into the end zone. McCutcheon will down it, and USC will go to work out on the 28-yard line. And they will have the tallest quarterback in their history starting for them. It's his job alone. He shared it a year ago, but not now. Brad Otten is the man. His record as a starter reflected there, and you can see 20 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions. He is very good. He's a big guy, and he's much more agile than you might expect a 6'6" fellow to be. He is the son of a coach. That always helps. The Trojans come up with Rodney Sermons and Marvin Powell lined up in the backfield. And they're double wide to the right. They throw on the first play, comes outside, and it's off the hands of Chris Miller. So they were trying to quick pop Miller outside and get him into a one-on-one, and the ball was thrown too high. The Chile starting lineup. USC's backs and receivers show Marvin Powell III at fullback. Yes, his father played there, an All-American tackle. Rodney Sermons is the tailback. Billy Miller is the man who is wearing the shirt and filling the position of Keyshawn Johnson, who is now a member of the New York Jets. Number 3. He's very good. Second down and 10. Penn State showing a 4-man front. Otten again pumps and throws to the sidelines. The ball is caught by the USC receiver, but he had a knee down on the ground when he made the catch. That was Chris Miller. He is a senior out of Los Angeles, California. The offensive front for Southern California, as Bob noted, is very, very young, including Travis Claridge, a freshman from Vancouver, Washington. But he may be young, but he sure is heck big enough. He's 6'6", 300 pounds.
That whole line, Keith, there's Claridge, averages 6'6" and 300 pounds.
Bunch of trees. Otten now goes into a shotgun. He's 6'6" himself. It is third down and a long time. Pressure's coming, steps away from it, throws down the middle, has his first down, completing the pass to Mike Bastianelli, number 25. Bastianelli, a sophomore out of Danville, California, got loose right down the middle of the field.
Well, from behind the offense, the mark of a true veteran quarterback, stepping up in the pocket. Claridge, the freshman, loses his man. Now he says, wait a minute, I'll just take some time. I got some time. Bastianelli slides to the middle of the field in between linebackers. First down on the third play of the ball game.
And it's on the 39-yard line for the Trojans. Goes back under center, the first running play of the ball game, and it goes to Rodney Sermons. DeLon Washington probably would have been starting tailback, but he has been suspended for 1 game. The defensive front for Penn State is led by Brandon Noble. He is a tested veteran in the middle, and we sort of felt that his eyes might have been glittering a little bit when he thought about playing against a true freshman.
We were talking to him, and he was asked the question. He said, "You'll be playing across from that freshman Claridge." He said, "Yeah, we got a few things. Maybe I can get off to a good start this season."
Second down and 8. Ball is on the 41 of USC. Otten's passes away, caught by the fullback. Powell out of the backfield, and he makes the catch. You play fullback at USC, you got to be able to catch the ball. Aaron Collins makes the tackle for Penn State. The defensive backfield for Penn State's a very good one. It's led by Brian Miller, number 34. He is really an outstanding football player from Stan Musial's hometown of Donora, PA.
You said it, Keith. Both corners are good. The other one, Tate and Kim Herring, the free safety. They've got 3 outstanding players in that secondary.
It is third down and 2. The ball is at the 47-yard line. Lavelle Woods is in the backfield. Pop it out quickly to Chris Miller. Miller getting help on the corner, gets around the corner, and there's a penalty flag. He's got the yardage for the first down as it's marked at the Penn State 46. Let us see about the penalty. It's against USC. The officials today, an all Big East crew.
Like the play, Keith. It was just a quick lateral, really. It was a backward pass out to Miller, but somebody was holding in the offensive line.
Buddy Ward, the referee.
Holding
there they are.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Mike Semchik, the umpire, Bristol Martin, Nick Trainer, Tom Tomzik, Jerry McGee, and Jim Anderson, the officials today out of the Big East Conference. So that brings them back to a third down. Ball is put back on the 44-yard line. And they've got to go up to, well, they need about 5 yards on third down after the penalty. Got away from it, passes away, passes incomplete, intended for Bastianelli, and it was a good defensive play by Kim Herring.
And Noble up front had pressure on Otten, and he was playing right in front of the freshman Claridge. 6 of the first 7 plays for USC were pass plays. John Robinson told us yesterday he wanted more balance, but this seems like, Keith, the way they left the Rose Bowl, throwing a lot.
Yep. Matter of fact, they came out against the Northwestern of the Rose Bowl with a 2-minute offense. Jim Wren into punt. Kim Herring is back to receive it. Wren is a junior from Yorba Linda, California. He's got a lot of spin on it. It's a low line drive, goes down to the 9 and bounds on through the end zone. And Penn
71 in white, the true freshman playing his first game. Watch him as he's pass protecting. Brian Noble gives him a little arm over move, forces Otten to move around. He does a nice job of moving around, and a nice play by Kim Herring. But
all right, Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions coming up now with only 3 offensive starters from a team that routed Auburn in the Outback Bowl last year. 73 Lions stayed in State College this summer to go to school and to work and commune in the weight room. So there's a good bit of determination in this bunch now as they hunker down for the first snap of the '96 season. Wally Richardson, the veteran quarterback, they'll run it with Curtis Eady's number 35, and he is a hammer. Brought down by Pearsall and Kelly. He picks up about 5 yards on the play. Wally Richardson's career as a starter, he is out of Sumter, South Carolina, and his ratio of touchdowns to interception, like Otten, is very good. And he, without question, steps in as the leader this year.
Much more confident, much more consistent, has really fulfilled the leadership role on this ball club.
They've got double wide, top of the picture. The tight end comes to the left side, and Richardson hands the ball away to Aaron Harris, the fullback. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's going to lose some yardage. The Chile starting lineup for Penn State, the backs and receivers. Jason Slode steps in at fullback in front of number 39, Curtis Enos, who many think can come on now without injury, and over the next couple of seasons become one of the great running backs in Penn State history. He's about 233, 34 pounds.
And fast.
And he can haul it. You're right. Richardson back. His first pass. That's a lateral behind the line of scrimmage. But it works well as Enos, who turns on the power coming up the sidelines, and he pounds it across the 30 for a first down.
Just going to be a little swing pass, and Papadakis, the linebacker, has a chance to make the play right here, but with the speed and the strength, as you mentioned, over 230 pounds and speed and quickness, he picks up the first down.
And the Lions now flex out and show more spread offensive formations in the early going of the ball game as they come double to the bottom of the picture, and Richardson goes back, looks down the middle and throws down the middle, and it's an incomplete forward pass, but two flags are thrown, and Chris Campbell gets the foul from Brian Kelly. He hit him too soon.
And that's a good call, Bob. Keith, that's a good call.
Oh, no question. He ran into him before the ball got there. So the penalty will move Penn State on up the field. The sunshine today, very bright and very puffy, little few clouds scudding around, but not quite so hot as we've had it in times past.
42 Kelly, the free safety. A little soon. He saw it the whole way. He just timed it poorly.
So put it on the 45 and make it a first down for the Nittany Lions. And they hand it to Enos. Stops, looks, finds a track, and picks up 3 yards when he could very well have lost 3 yards. It is the offensive front where new people are playing. It is anchored by veteran Barry Tilch. He is a starter and the only returning starter up on the front for the Nittany Lions. All these other people, though, have played quite a bit.
Yes, they have. They're all 4th and 5th year players, unlike Southern Cal. They have a new offensive linemen, some of them who have not played before.
Second down, long 7. Richardson holds it, a little bit of a delay, buys some time. His man Keith Olsemer is wide open, and the big tight end is inside the USC 40-yard line. First down, Lions. Grant Pearsall made the tackle, but not until big Keith Olsemer from Moscow, Pennsylvania, had picked up another first down. Darrell Russell leads the up-front charge for the USC defense. He's a good one.
He is outstanding, Keith. He's an All-American.
In fact, both those tackles, Russell and Kennelly,
right next to him. They're tough inside.
You got to go around them or over. First down from 39 now for the Lions. And Richardson gives to Enos. He's caught from, no, it is not. It is Harris, and he's caught from behind as the defender looped from the outside. Sammy Knight, who had played at a corner and safety and so forth and so on in the secondary. Sammy has finally come from a strong safety spot into what amounts to a linebacking position. But Dalen McCutcheon, number 1, is a little piece of magic in the defensive secondary for Southern California.
He is he's dangerous. Not only can he run, but he's dangerous. You got to watch out for him.
There's there's youth in that secondary, but it's one of the best in the country despite their youth. Sophomores and they played a lot last year. This is Curtis Enos, the tailback, again making the reception and again moving the ball up the field.
Well, the first 20 or 25 plays for Penn State are scripted. They've been working on these plays all week long. That time, Enos, the running back, was lined up at wide as a wide receiver. They faked it to the fullback and threw it out to him and got a little block and picked up a nice yardage. 3rd and about 1 for a first down.
USC shuffling some down linemen. Cedric Jefferson is in. Anthony Sanford is in. Matt Kennelly comes out for a moment. Brian Kelly also comes off the field. I think they've decided that we got to get some more heft in there because Penn State, and you called it earlier in the week when you said if you let Enos get started, he can do a tap dance on your coffin. And we remember it from the Ohio State game.
He's a load, Keith. And, you know, I got a feeling that the only guy that can stop Curtis Enos is a man you're looking at right there. you know, Joe doesn't like anybody to get too much praise, but I got a feeling that Enos is a guy that can really take off.
Third down and a short two for the Lions. Ball goes to number 25, Harris, and he will have a first down for Penn State. So the Trojans put in what amounts to the goal line defensive unit, and Penn State punched out the first down anyway. So in comes Grant Pearsall and Brian Kelly, and Matt Kenley comes back. Slode is back in at fullback for Penn State. Enos is behind him. Enos. I tell you what, he'll loosen your caps if you try to take him on head up. He's got about 9 yards.
Here's a look at Papadakis right here. The ball is going to be run right through. Why he's going to run right through the hole. It's going to be a draw play. Nobody blocks him. You've got to make this play right here. Papadakis playing for the first time in several years. He's fought injuries the last couple of years.
This is the 10th play of this possession. This is Harris. He spins off the stack and picks up a couple of yards. Tasso Papadakis, number 35, is a second-generation Trojan. Tonight on ABC, Diana Ross stars in the powerful Sunday night movie Out of Darkness. But first, it's an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by Lois and Clark, all tonight on ABC. Does it bother you, Mr. Greasy, to have a Greek lad toiling in the ranks of Troy?
Papadakis? Dad owns a restaurant, doesn't he?
Maybe he's still looking for Helen.
Maybe he is.
First down. Ball is on the 18. He's a load. Running behind Slode as he gets down to about the 14.
Take a look at the offensive blocking at Smarzik, number 71. That's a nice block. Slode 15, looking for somebody. We mentioned, I think the offensive lines, Keith, are key early in the season. And this one for Penn State, even though 4 of the 5 are new starters, they've all been in the program for 4 years.
Aaron Harris is the single back now for Penn State. On second down, he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and taken down sharply. That's the first good solid hit that a Trojan defender has had, and it was made by Chris Claiborne, number 55, a 235-pound true freshman.
Talk about a blue chipper coming out of high school. This young man doesn't even know where the library is, doesn't know how to get around campus yet. Here he and Claridge on the offensive line, 2 of the top recruits in the country playing here in their first game.
It is third down and 6. Ball is on the USC 14-yard line, and Wally Richardson throws. It is intended for Juravicius. It is intercepted by Brian Kelly, and Penn State is turned away. So Brian Kelly, the junior from Denver, Colorado, steps in front of Joe Juravicius, takes the ball away from him, and USC has the ball out on the 35 first down.
Here's a look at it. They're blitzing up front. Aggressive defense, man coverage. And he just kind of stole it from him.
Yep.
Juravicius had it. The ball was in the air. Kelly takes it.
Tough
Big
defensive play by Brian Kelly.
Long ago, an inventor came up with the assembly line, allowing a few people to make a lot of something. It was the model for efficiency. At Chili's, we pride ourselves for our inefficiency, because we make each of the Big Mouth burgers by hand, grilled one at a time by a person. And when you taste for yourself how good they are, you'll appreciate all the time we've wasted. Chili's fresh grilled Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
We took the most comfortable full-sized pickup on the road and made it more comfortable. We took the most thoughtful interior on the market and made it more thoughtful. We took the biggest cab in the industry and made it bigger. The Dodge Ram Club Cab. First, we changed the rules. Then we stretched them. At America's truck stop, the new Dodge.
There's over 173 different sports in the world, and each has its own special outfit. Running shorts with storm flaps? What's gonna get in there? I don't know! What you need is this, Discus Athletic. Athletic wear made for every sport. Shaq! Oh, Shaq! One brand for 173 different sports. Discus Athletic, one thing to wear. Well, maybe only 172.
The Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports, brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. The United States Postal Service. And the new Coors Light White Mouth Can. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour. 4 minutes and 46 seconds to play in the first quarter of the 14th Kickoff Classic. No score. And Southern California, having intercepted Penn State when it looked like the Lions would go in, come to the attack first down at the 35. Otten is 4 out of 6 so far in the ball game. 2 to Miller. That's Chris Miller. And this is Rodney Sherman running the ball for 3 yards. Bastianelli has caught 1 and Powell has caught 1. The interception.
Let's go back to the interception. Watch the 2 linebackers here now. They're going to be blitzing. USC has started being more aggressive this year. That's Knight, number 9, that kind of gets in his face. He's throwing off balance. Juravicius, he looks like he has it. He does have it, but Kelly, who was a corner last year, now he's playing free safety, steals it. He had picked off 3 last year. He's a good player.
And it's second down, and call it, it's got to be 6. Moving away from the pressure, throws a wounded goose. Out of bounds. Ball slipped out of his hands. Aaron Collins and Chris Snyder had him in their sights. Fresh from a late-night cross-country flight from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, folks, and you'll never know how long it can take unless you do it in the Goodyear Blimp. The home of the Little League World Series, where they were last week. The Stars and Stripes out of Pompano, Florida, have arrived. Welcome, gentlemen.
You sound like you've done that before, Hoss.
It's a good group of folks.
You say you don't know until you've done it, but like you've done it before.
Right. Third down, and call it 5. Otten's pass is a hummer, and incomplete. I don't think anybody could have caught it because he had a lot of spin and fire on it. Coronado was the man pursuing Brad Otten and made him unload it in such a way that nobody could pick it off. And now the Trojans are going to be forced to punt it away. It'll be their second kick of the first half. Kim Herring will be the man to your right, number 3, to receive the punt. Jim Wren's first kick was a 56-yarder today. That went through the end zone. Lions peel back, looking for a return. And the ball slides off the right side, takes a bounce and hits a Trojan, and it'll be marked down just inside the 20-yard line. 41 yards with no return. No score from the Meadowlands.
If we violate the laws of physics, will we be punished? Well, we did. We gave Stratus a new type of tire that offers the tread life and enhanced fuel economy of a tire engineered for efficiency, yet sticks to the road like a tire engineered for performance. A clear violation of physical law. Thus far, there have been no legal repercussions. Dodge Stratus, it's full of answers. Now, during the Dodge Summer Clearance, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Good boy.
The new Coors Light Wide Mouth can is here with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
It's country driving. It's fancy coat and tie. Ooh, it's the football team, your beauty queen. It's why we're right nearby. And best of all, it's thrifty, renting cars in your neighborhood. Ooh, best of all, it's thrifty, coming through like you knew we would.
Curtis Enos, true sophomore starting tailback for Penn State, talked to me on Friday, and he said that he is coming back for 1996 to prove to Joe Paterno he is ready to take the challenge. He said last year he was a little bit confused switching from defense to offense. At times the plays got mixed up for him. Said this offseason he worked very hard at recognizing where the safeties are going to come up for run support, and he wants to prove to Paterno he can handle the load. Keith?
All right, 20, here's Richardson back. Looks deep down the middle. Throws underneath it and completes the pass to number 21, Joe Nastasi, a sophomore out of Woodbury, Pennsylvania. And Wally threw a bullet. Joe handled it.
That's the first reception of Nastasi's career. He played a little bit last year, didn't have any receptions. He's only 5'10".
Well, it's second down and about 3 as the ball sits at the 27-yard line. Joe Jurevicius, number 83, a wideout for Penn State, by far the biggest of the targets among the wide receivers. And he's been there. He made a big catch in the Rose Bowl game against Oregon.
He did. He's 6'5".
Running over the right side, Enos. He likes to duck in behind Tilch and Ostrowski, and on the other side, Brad Jones. He has the strength. If you give him a little room inside, he can shake you off and tear you up. Did not quite get the first down, so it's third down and a half a yard.
Big Darrell Russell in the center of that defensive line along with Kennelly. Keith Burns, the defensive coordinator, Keith told us that they want to be more aggressive this year.
This is Harris, and he has just enough leverage to apparently pick up the first down. He's very close. They'll move the chains. First down. Monday, September 2nd, 8 Eastern. Biggest names in the history of pro football share their memories with us. 1 hour primetime special, ABC's Monday Night Football Mania. And then the Chicago Bears will have their hands full as the Dallas Cowboys come to town. Troy Aikman keeping the clubs in the bag for a little while, and Nate's still playing. So come to town Monday, September the 2nd, here on ABC Sports, and we'll play some football. Richardson getting some pressure, and the pass is into the sidelines and incomplete. It was Darrell Russell putting the heat on him. Darrell is a mere 6'4", 305, and angry. Actually not. He's a big, happy, smiling, good-looking guy who really wanted to play basketball.
Well, he's dedicated himself. He lost some weight. He was up to about 320. Now he's down to about 305. And really, it makes a difference. He's moving around much better.
Enos and Harris have been the workhorses so far for Penn State. Enos 5 carries, Harris 6. And Richardson gives it again to Enos. He shakes that tackle right at the line of scrimmage and just keeps on pounding. You will not arm tackle him. You're going to have to wrap him up to bring him down. And then you can't be sure of it.
It's a good look. A little blitz on the outside. Cusano there. Lowry, 91, gets a shot at him and misses. 55, Claiborne gets blocked. The free safety is out of it. He broke about 2 or 3 tackles there. He's not going to tackle him with an arm tackle or just going for his upper body. He's 230 pounds and quick.
Cordell Mitchell is in replacing Enos with Jason Slode, the fullback, and it's Slode, the single back right now. And Richardson stands, looks, throws, intercepted by Sammy Knight at the 48-yard line of Penn State. Sammy Knight was a safety, and he's playing linebacker, and he sat right in that zone and was right there for the pass.
Yeah, one of the things that Joe Paterno's team didn't do last year is turn the ball over. Richardson only had 6 interceptions all year. This is just going to be a quick pat, 3 steps, and throw. He's trying to hit a slant or a little stop pattern. And just experience right there. He knew exactly where to go to get the ball.
Cordell Mitchell was the intended receiver, apparently. But he never got it. Put it on the 48, make it a first down for Southern California. Rodney Sermons, the tailback from the student body right. Gets about halfway to the English classroom, and he's brought down just inside the 45-yard line.
Gets where? Well, this game has been, the offenses, I thought they would both kind of stutter because of the inexperience. As you see Richardson talking to probably Dick Anderson upstairs, as quarterback coach. But the USC offense has not done much. They've thrown the ball and stopped themselves. Penn State, on the other hand, both possessions have ended in turnovers.
In case you wonder where Billy Miller has been so far in the ball game, well, Brian Miller is covering him, and he's a tough nut. So he has not been readily available as Rodney Sermons. He's not a gimme. He's a junior out of Diamond Bar, 6-footer and 200 pounds. So they've got a lot of people who can play that I-back or tailback position, even though Sean Walters won't be back until the 4th game. And DeLon Washington is suspended for this game. Sammy Knight, number 9 right there, the man who gave the Trojans the ball on the 48 for this possession. So make it 3rd down and 1 at the 39. And Lavelle Woods is in the backfield, but time has run out in the first quarter, and after 1 period in the Kickoff Classic, we have no score.
FedEx uses over 500 airplanes to handle your 2-day package. Cost? About $12.
Over 500 airplanes to handle your 2-day package. Cost? About $6.
The U.S. Postal Service uses over 15,000 airplanes to handle your priority mail 2- to 3-day package. Cost? $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
I really do have dandruff, so I did it. I took the Dinerex test. Dinerex tingled. Head and shoulders, nothing.
All these have effective dandruff medicine, but Dinerex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
You won't see me scratching my head in Miami.
Dinerex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
A tough case of athlete's foot can stop you in your tracks. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough Actin Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
If you want full Office Suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers Office Suite power at a word processor price.
Dodge Ram has won a lot of awards from a lot of experts, from a lot of magazines. But according to a survey of new vehicle owners by Strategic Vision, Ram is also winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Owner Experience in its class for the 2nd year in a row. An award from the most important truck experts of all, the people who make the payments. Dodge Ram, the rules have changed.
The heralded freshman offensive guard is on the sidelines, contemplating.
Well, he's had a tough first quarter, as you might expect from a true freshman in his first game. Again, going against a veteran like Brandon Noble. He's gotten beat a couple times. Just set him on the sideline. Let him look at it from here.
Lavelle Woods is in the backfield, and tailback has the ball for Southern California. And he runs into number 24, Sean Lee, the hero back of Penn State, who takes him down just short of the 35-yard line. And your first quarter numbers.
Well, the numbers here, the first quarters, really, Penn State is moving the ball 80 yards. The thing that you don't see on there is the 2 turnovers by Penn State. They've turned the ball over twice. They have dominated the first quarter, 9.5 minutes. But the 2 turnovers are the story of the first quarter for Penn State.
USC starting the second quarter on their first snap, getting the first down, just short of the 35-yard line of Penn State. And Brad Otten back to throw. Going for the incomplete. Chris Miller was open. He hit him all right, but the ball and the catch was out of bounds.
He was wide open. Otten got the ball to him late, and when it did get there, it carried him out of bounds. He had him beat by 5 yards. There's a look at Miller versus Tate. Tate thought he was going to stop. He just keeps going. Now the ball pushes him out of bounds. It needed to get there sooner and, of course, throw it more to the inside.
Good strong run over the right side, Vallavelle, inside the 30 to the 29. That's a pickup of 6 yards.
There's a look at that offensive line. It's big and huge going against a smaller, quick Lion defensive line. Pretty good blocking up there, up front.
3rd down and 4 for the Trojans. And they go 3 quick people. 3 wideouts with Sermons and Woods in the backfield and out of the shotgun. Both Woods and Sermons good receivers. They give it to Woods. Finds the hole, dives for the first down, and he is short. Gerald Filardi, the middle linebacker for Penn State, who led the team in tackles a year ago, stepped up and got him, number 47. It'll be 4th down and a yard. They're going. It's a long yard, too, in case you're curious.
Field goal, Keith, would have been about 44 yards.
Wind is swirling around a bit. It is Woods, the deep man. Otten keeps it, throws, incomplete. Again, he had his man wide open, Travis Hall, and he missed him.
Well, it's a good time to go for a 4th down play action because you're deep in the other team's territory, and you go for it, and if you miss it, you still leave them backed up in their own territory. But Otten has had a slow start. He missed the receiver that was wide open for a touchdown. Should have laid this up a little bit more, give it a little bit more height, let him run underneath it.
Genuine Chevrolet. Then and now, the cars more Americans trust. Genuine Chevrolet. Year in, year out. The cars more Americans trust.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
When you're choosing a name for your baby, you want one you'll feel good about for a long, long time. It's the same when you're choosing life insurance for yourself. You want something that will endure. When you go with State Farm, you get a life insurance company that has always received the highest possible ratings for financial strength, which means State Farm is one name that'll sound just as good when your kids are growing up as it does today. State Farm understands life.
Last year's hit movie is this year's new series. Annie Potts returns to network television. Dangerous Minds. ABC Mondays this September.
Let's go back and take a look at that last play. 4th down and a yard. Good play action. Now he just needs to give it a little height. The man is beaten. Travis Hall has 3 steps on the defensive back. If you just throw it up in the air and make sure you get the completion. Don't make it a perfect throw and a perfect catch. It's a nice call by Mike Riley, the offensive coordinator.
Well, you get chances like that, you got to make the play.
Yeah, you do.
And
especially from Otten. I mean, Otten's an experienced guy on that offense. The other guys are inexperienced.
On 1st first down. Richardson gives the ball to Curtis Enos, caught in the backfield, dragged down by defensive end George Perry, junior, San Bernardino. Perry had penetrated and was just kind of hunkered down in there waiting for somebody to come his way, and suddenly there was Curtis. Loss on the play of 2 yards. Well, they're calling it 1 on the board, but it's 12, second down and 12. Ball is right on the 25-yard line. He's so strong, he just shrugged it off and bolted out to the 30. The first hit came from Mark Cusano. Cusano is a 225-pound sophomore, and he had a pretty good lick on him, but Enos just kept on rolling.
Well, here you go, Keith. Again, the linebackers are in there blitzing. Southern California, both linebackers coming right up the gut. Till 75 gets one. Cusano right there fought off the block of Harris.
Kenley got his coattail.
Yeah, very aggressive defense.
42 yards on 8 carries for Curtis Enos. And Richardson back to throw, looking, throws for Jurevicius. And this time, Joe puts it away and makes it complete. Ken Haslett hassled him pretty good, but Jurevicius handled it.
It's a good throw by Richardson, too, because the first 2 possessions for Penn State, he's had passes intercepted. One that was probably not his fault, and the other one that was. Penn State's offense this year, Keith, is not going to be like it was a couple of years ago when they had all that top talent, that 14 players off of the 94 offense are in the pros.
Boy,
we're going to go back to see it.
That's a bumpy road up the middle there, but Enos moved it along all right. Saturday, the PGA Tour will go into Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Labor Day weekend. The Greater Milwaukee Open, presented by Light Beer. Coverage begins Saturday, 1:30 Eastern, 4 Pacific, here on ABC Sports. Second down, long 4. Richardson hands to Enos. Kind of looks around for the crack and finds it and gets it up close to midfield. He's got about a yard to go for the first down. Sammy Knight made the tackle for the Trojans. Over 77,000 tickets sold for this game, and it appears that most everybody came.
So it's a sellout. This is the 3rd sellout in 14 years, and Penn State has been involved in 2 of those.
National Football Foundation, the primary beneficiary. A lot of youngsters getting scholarship money out of here. That pass is again drilled hard by Wally Richardson and caught by Joe Jurevicius. Hits him right on the numbers, and he put it away for his 2nd successive catch. And here's Lynn Swann.
Well, Keith, in college sports, the famous alumni always come out to support their team, and this is Lisa Leslie with gold medal hanging around their neck, former basketball player for USC. Lisa, the Olympics are over. You've got the gold medal. It had to be the highlight of your career.
Oh, definitely. I think aside from playing for USC, winning a gold medal has definitely been a highlight of my career. I love the fact that I've been a gold medalist and been able to join some of the ranks of the other Olympians out of USC.
Richardson going big for the corner. It is incomplete. Jurevicius running under the ball. No chance. Let's go back and hear more from Lisa.
Okay, but the Olympics are over, but that doesn't mean basketball is done, does it?
Oh, definitely not. Right now I'm here in New York for, I'm a Wilhelmina model now, and I've just seen some agencies. Tommy Hilfiger, I'll be in the new Vibe fashion show, as well as Valentino. So I'm looking forward to doing that, but definitely next year I will be playing basketball.
So you're keeping busy, you're out here supporting your team. Now, were you at the games a lot when you were at USC?
Oh, definitely. I used to go and watch Curtis Conway. I loved all those guys.
They need your support right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Curtis Enos slanting over the left side. Again, gets about 5 yards on the carry. She's pretty good at popping those commercials in there, isn't she? She got trained on a NASCAR circuit before she got those in there.
You picked that up on it, didn't you, Hoss?
Enos now is 72 yards in the first half of play. Time remaining in the first half, 9 minutes and 4 seconds. 37-yard line. 3rd down and 6. Jason slowed the single back. Down the sidelines and thrown away. That isn't thrown away. Waller's seeing the 12th man down there.
Well, better to throw it away than have it picked off. I'm sure Joe's telling him just that. That's, you know, there's nobody open, just throw it out of bounds.
Daryl Kania, number 28, the punter. He's a senior out of Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania. 2 deep men for Southern California. He doesn't want anybody to get their hands on it. There's a fair catch call made at the 11-yard line by Chad Morton, Johnny Morton's younger brother. 8:41 to go in the first half. No score.
During a surprise inspection of your barracks this afternoon, I found this. I want the soldier who belongs to this spear to step forward. Now, what's the matter? Do you miss your precious Rocky Mountains? Dipping your tootsies into an ice-cold Rocky Mountain stream, fraternizing with some snow bunny? Do you, Kowalski? I want to know whose beer this is right now.
It's my beer, Sergeant.
You put this beer here?
I certainly did, and I checked on it.
I wasn't gonna take it, sir.
I'll bet.
No, really, look, it's still cold.
You're right. Now, what'd you do with my pretzels?
Well, don't just stand there. Find the General's pretzels.
Here comes one. Oh, an 87 Buick station wagon. Got it. 74 Volkswagen Beetle. A 285 horsepower V8 6-speed 1996 Chevy Camaro Z28.
Yeah, but what color?
I'm wearing my shades because there's a lot of glare. It sort of reminds me of the putting green, you know, late in the afternoon, the poana grows and it gets to shining.
So when you're not here, you're on the putting green. Is that what you're saying?
It's really bright.
I'm not surprised, Keith, that it's a slow game offensively. Not many points are being scored because of the offenses. Both young offenses going to take a little bit of time.
Claridge is back in there now as they start the possession from the 12, out near the 12. And penalty flag. The ball came out of there, I think, on the snap. And you've got penalty flags, and you've got Penn State claiming possession. They do have possession, but what about the flag? It's against SC. They'll pick up the flag, and it'll belong to Penn State. The Trojans turn it over, and they turn it over at a very bad spot. Their own 12-yard line as Chris Snyder covered the loose ball. The exchange between Heimbach and Otten got away.
It was, and Heimbach is starting for the first time, and Brandon Noble is on the nose. I really believe that when a center has a tough guy on his nose, as you see right there, that's 91 Snyder on the ball. The center is anxious to block when you got a tough guy on your nose and doesn't get the ball all the way back. Tough place to turn it over for USC.
Curtis Enos, the deep man. Jason Slode, the fullback. Enos gets the ball, comes over the right side, goes down to about the 7. Close to 5 yards. Rashard Cook got the first hit on him. Sophomore strong safety. Barry Tilch, the center for Penn State, got up a little crooked, but he's all right, I guess. He got buried under that pile.
You got single coverage out on the corners.
Richardson looking at it. Incomplete. 3 Trojans actually had their hands on the ball intended for the tight end, Keith Olsemer, and they couldn't come away with it.
This was a tight end delay. Both of the wide receivers just ran off into the end zone. That was a tight end delay all the way. And 3 Trojans had an opportunity. Watch 87 right in the middle of our screen. He's blocking. Now he just did a little delay.
Cook got a hand on it.
Bounce, whoop.
Knight got it.
Ball's in the air.
3rd down and 5 from the 7. Richardson, pressure, and he's going to be taken down short of the 10-yard line by Mark Cusano, linebacker. So I'm surprised, frankly, on the first carry, Enos goes for 5. Then they start throwing it.
Well, I am too, Keith. You know, if you're going to throw it on 1st down. And if you're going to run it 5 yards with Enos, why continue?
Brett Conway is into the ball game with a kicking tee now. Joe Nastasi is the holder. Conway is a senior from Lilburn, Georgia. This one will come from the 28 yards away from the goalpost. On the 18-yard line, plus 10, a lot of leg on it, and it's good. And so finally, somebody scores. Penn State takes the lead at 7:12 to play in the first half of the 14th Kickoff Classic.
Genuine Chevrolet. Then and now, the cars more Americans trust. The cars more Americans trust. Genuine Chevrolet.
It's people who like tomorrow more than yesterday. People who like hard questions better than easy answers. People connecting arts with engineering, physics with philosophy. People who dream in 100 languages. It's in the middle of a city that's the test pattern for the future, at the heart of a new world called the Pacific Rim. It's a place that works like the next century is already here. Good place to be if you're going that way.
Let's see.
Stadium out in the Meadowlands, where Southern California, having lost opportunity in successive possessions to score and take the lead in the ball game, finally turned it over themselves on their own 12, and the Penn State Nittany Lions cash in a field goal to take the lead by a score of 3-0. 7:12 to play in the first half. Conway will kick it off. The deep people for Southern California are Chris Miller, number 2, and R.J. Soward, number 18. Miller's a senior, and Soward's a true freshman.
Brett Conway will take off. Deep for USC. Number 2, Chris Miller. Number 18, R.J. Soward.
That's a good kick. It is beyond the playing field. It'll come out to the 20, first half. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Regional action on ABC's college football. Most of you are going to see a top Big Tenner. Illinois goes to Ann Arbor facing Michigan. Others will see Washington State at Boulder against Colorado. Clemson meets North Carolina, or Texas Tech goes into Manhattan against Kansas State. Check your local listing for the game on your ABC station, and the game's available from your cable operator. Saturday here on ABC Sports. Brad Otten is 4 out of 10 for 32 yards. He's missed his last 5, and the last snap was a fumble that resulted in Penn State taking the lead on the field goal. All right, he's working out of the shotgun now, and the afternoon grows warmer down on the rug. Pressure coming. Hit as he throws. The pass is incomplete. He tried to get the ball to Bastianelli, number 25, but it was too low as he was hit.
Looks like Otten is rubbing his right arm. Take a look at this on the sidelines for USC. You've got these fans that blowing the cool air and the wet air to cool you off. On the other side, Penn State, I guess they didn't ask for him or bring him along.
You got Travis Hall back in the ball game. He's sort of in that old H-back position that USC showed up, I guess, for the very first time. And it's an alignment that caught on across the country. That play went no place with Lavelle Woods. And so the Southern California offense now looks pretty ragged.
Well, and the reason they look ragged is because they have no running game whatsoever. John Robinson says we need balance. We asked him yesterday, with DeLon Washington being out and Sean Walters, your two runners at backfield, are you going to throw more? He said, no, we need balance. We've got to run the ball to have balance. Well, they have no running game. They don't have any balance.
3rd and 11. He has time. He lets it go. He's got Chris Miller. He's got the ball. And all the way down to the 21-yard line. Lost his balance. Couldn't stay inside. And finally, Chuck Penzenik was able to shove him out of bounds.
So they've had this open a couple of times, and they've missed other ones. Down here on the bottom, the receiver is just going to run a streak straight down the sideline. Miller versus Tate. He beat him earlier. He beats him again. This time the throw is good. 60 yards on the completion.
Yeah, that little stutter step there by Tate, that let him get loose. No chance to catch him. Looking and looking and looking. Now throws, comes back to the tight end Allred, and Allred will take it down to about the 15-yard line for a pickup of about 6 yards on the play. Jim Nelson, linebacker, made the tackle for Penn State.
Allred was the 3rd tight end last year. USC had 3 tight ends, and they caught like over 45 passes. The 3 of them did, and like 12 touchdown passes. You take a look at Chris Miller.
Well, he's got Travis Hall, a tight end, lined up at the fullback position right now, with Woods behind him. Woods with the ball, gets away and gets up what appears to be a first down near the 10-yard line. He stepped right out of the hands of Brandon Short. At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet awarding nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities over the years. First down for the Trojans, just outside the 10. It'll be, they're going to call it a first and goal, I guess, so it must be touching the 10. This is Woods pounding down the middle to about the 5. And make it 4-yard pickup, put it on the 6.
This was an area last year where Penn State was not very good, Keith, inside the 20-yard line, stopping opposing offenses. Joe feels good about his defense this year. He says it's quicker, it's a little smaller, but quicker and tougher. But we'll see how it goes.
Second down from the 6. Woods up the middle. This is good old-fashioned jawbone football, just hammering it right down the middle.
You know, when you're playing in practice against your own players, sometimes, and especially early in the season in August, your defense is going to dominate because the defensive players play against the offensive players every day in practice. They know the plays. They know the offenses. There's Jerry Sandusky. They know the checkoffs. You get to know them. And so this will be the true test right here.
Ball is just inside the 4. It is 3rd down. Woods is still the deep back. That's Miller in motion. Martin rolls, looks to throw. Throws back in the end zone. It is incomplete. He threw it high. He'd have been better off. He might have scored if he'd just tucked it down and took off. So it'll bring up 4th down.
Take a look at it from behind the defense. Filardi is 47. Herring is number 3. Motion was to their left. They knew something was coming. There's Miller, number 2. Too high.
Well, Allred was the only guy that had a chance.
Now, see, the reason he threw it high is he had to throw it over those linebackers. But you had to kind of dump it.
Once it hit the goalpost, the play was over. Well, we got people moving around all over the place, so the kicker is out to try for a 21-yard field goal. Adam Abrams, the sophomore out of San Diego.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, 5 yards.
So the Trojans get the wiggling before the snap, and it costs them 5 yards.
That's Breimer, 67. Breimer is the only member of that offensive line with any starting experience whatsoever.
His brother kicked at Stanford? Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's a 21-yarder now was turned into a 26-yarder for Abrams after the 5-yard penalty. Hold is good by Wren. The kick is up, and he missed it. So the Trojans get one big play, and then it's not very pretty. Well, they're giving Penn State some heart by that kind of play. On the Valvoline halftime 96, Todd Blackledge will be joining Bob and I. We also have a preview of some of the games next week. Todd going into the studio this season with John Saunders, and we'll have Brent Musburger's summary from that shoot 'em up bang bang thing out in Utah at Pro Bowl. We'll take a look at what Burger King has done with their scholarship awards program. So we've got a lot of things for you at halftime today on Valvoline halftime 96. And this is Curtis Enos. Classic power back. You get him leaning toward the sidelines, and the yards just keep ticking away like a parking meter as he keeps on coming to the sideline.
And both offenses are struggling, and they're struggling. They get down there and they can't convert touchdowns. They need it. Normally, early in the season, offenses may have problems because it's early, but especially because of all the young guys, it's got to be very disheartening to get it down there and not get it in the end zone.
3:45 to go in the first half. Penn State leading 3-0. First down for the Lions just outside the 30-yard line. Wally Richardson, time to throw, does to the sidelines. Pass is caught by Aaron Harris out of the backfield. And he'll pick up 6 yards on the catch. Nobody talked much about Aaron Harris, a redshirt freshman out of Exton, but he's played very well here in the first half.
Talking with Franny Ganner, the offensive coordinator this week, he really liked this kid. Like you say, he's playing for the first time this year. He's the backup fullback, but he said he'd play a lot. Catch the ball and blocks very well. If you're playing in front of Enos, you better be able to block. Because he's going to get the ball.
Juravicius is the white man to the bottom of your picture. They give it inside to Curtis Enos. There's another Penn State first down as he takes it out across midfield. Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to let this big guy get ahead of steam, and you're going to go home pretty sore.
So look at the offensive line. 96 is Russell. For USC, that's Jones, 64. Just takes him to the outside.
Also holds his coattail a little.
They did a little bit.
Yep. Enos now 84 yards on 14 carries. First down, call it midfield for the Lions. Wally, broken play. He was looking for somebody, and Curtis was outside. And there was a Trojan between them, so Wally just ate it. Kennelly and Perry, the tackles.
There's a look at Matt Kennelly. He's a 4-year starter. Gets around the block of Tilch to the center. That's a freebie there. That's up in the backfield.
Kennelly's had 7 tackles now in this first half. That's been busy. The ball's back on the 48-yard line. Second down and 12. Richardson looking for Juravicius. Goes to the other side. Pass good. The 21, Nastasi. Second catch of his career. First down, Penn State at the 29. And there's a penalty flag. Looked like they might tack a face mask onto it.
Incidental face mask on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
So put it down on the 24 of USC, first down, Penn State.
It's a nice play, a good throw by Richardson. The offenses are moving inside the 20-yard lines from 20 to 20. Now you've got to convert when you get inside the green zone. There's a look on the right side, and Henderson is 69. Nice block by the fullback. Now watch Cook right here. Cook says hello, and he doesn't hold on to it. He's 230 pounds, and he can't hold on to it. Enos is 230. Cook is 190.
So Curtis Enos hammers his way from 24 yards. The conversion by Conway is good, and the Penn State Nittany Lions at 1:57 to play in the first half lead by a score of 10-0. And Enos on 15 carries with 108 yards.
Mike. Can the mayor balance the city's budget?
Why the cuts on education?
Mike, why the high salaries in City Hall?
How come nobody ever asks how I am?
How are you, Mike?
How you doing?
Like
you care. But Mike, we care, Mike.
Michael J. Fox is back on TV. Spin City, Tuesdays this September on ABC.
The Super Bowl champs invade Chicago. The Cowboys and the Bears kick off our Monday night show.
Let's go back to that touchdown run. 69 Henderson, 63 is Jones. They both go to the inside. Slowed is 15. The guard that pulls from the opposite side, Ostrowski. And then you got to break a tackle now and then. Good backs can break tackles, and Enos breaks one by Cook and then takes Haslip into the end zone with him.
And it's 10-0 as Conway kicks off and hits it high, and it goes well into the end zone. It will not be returned. It'll be USC ball at the 20. The Trojans in their possessions have been punt, downs, fumble, and missed field goal. Had two men wide open for touchdowns on successive possessions and missed. The quarterback missed.
Quarterback missed both of them, and then got it to one on a long play, and then they didn't convert it.
Yep.
Didn't get any points out of it. 80 yards on 6 plays.
It is his 4th career 100-yard game, Curtis Enos, so that's going to become relatively commonplace, I suspect, in his future. First down for USC at the 20 out of the shotgun. And he throws complete. Pass to Lavelle Woods out of the backfield. And he moves it up to the 28-yard line.
Keith, I think the only way that SC is going to stay in this game is if they start throwing the ball. Yeah, they got to throw. Because Otten is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. The top 2 running backs that they have are out of this ball game, and the offensive line is green, brand new, and it's much simpler to pass block at this point for them than it is to run block. The timing is not there to run.
Out of the shotgun, and Woods. He drops the ball as he goes out of bounds. Are they going to give him possession? Yes, they are. Or are they? No, I guess not. I thought he might have had possession and then dropped it going out of bounds.
DeLon Washington, the running back who was
they gave him
suspended.
Possession. Yeah,
they caught it and just tried to put it away. But I think if Washington were here, their running game would be a little better. Let's take a look. Well, I'm not sure.
Not sure he had it.
Not sure he had it. Possession.
First down from the 30. Penalty flag. And the Trojans were moving.
What makes a running game is not the running back so much. I mean, certainly it has an effect, but it's the offensive line blocking up front.
On the offense.
1:36 to play in the first half. USC dogged by mistakes in the first half. Penn State leading 10-0.
For instance, if Joe would allow Enos to go over to the other side and play for USC and run behind that young offensive line, I don't think Enos would have near as much success as he is running on the other side.
Next year.
Oh, and later in the season, later in the year, this USC line.
Here's a running play with Sermons finding some daylight on a little delay. Gets the ball across the 30 to near the 33. So he got a pretty good chunk, plus the penalty back. Clock running at 1:15 to go in the first half. Second down and 7 for USC. Calling the play from the shotgun. A lot of time now. Penn State dropping back. Ball is thrown underneath to Rodney Sermons, the tailback. Pickup is up to the 36-yard line. Jim Nelson, the linebacker, had stayed at home and stuffed it right on the spot.
It's not what the pass you want to throw in a situation like that, but when he's just the out, you look downfield to throw other things, and when nothing else is open, you dump it off.
This pass is thrown behind Sherman's, and it'll be 4th down. So Otten not having a good day. Trojans will have to punt.
And the reason he's not having a good day, I think part of it is he knows he is the guy that has to carry this offense. The offensive line is new. He doesn't have his running backs. The backs he's got are pass receiving backs. So he's kind of hamstrung as far as having to throw the football.
Wren is in for his 3rd punt. First 2 were 56 and 41, and Kim Herring is deep for the Lions. Liner gets a good bounce, and Herring wants nothing to do with it, and it keeps on rolling and goes out of bounds down around the 11-yard line. So that'll go in the books as a pretty good-sized punt, 53 yards. And 32 seconds to play in the first half. Giant Stadium, Meadowlands, East Rutherford, Secaucus, the river, and over yonder is a big old hound.
There it is.
Thought he'd lost it for a minute. Now we'll just run out the clock. Unless somebody tackles Enos, the score's going to change before we run out the clock. Curtis Enos powers his way all the way up to the 40-yard line. And 23 seconds to play in the first half. Sammy Knight finally brought him down. He's been a powerhouse here in this first half.
Your offense is backed up, so you don't want to make any mistakes. You're up 10-0, so you're perfectly willing to go in. But let's just try something. Give it to our superstar, our big-time guy, can break some tackles and see if he can do anything. Well, he almost did.
Richardson lets it go. Pass is caught by Jason Slode out of the backfield, and that's a pickup of about 8 yards. Slode, junior from Marysville, Pennsylvania. Curtis Enos is an Ohioan from Union City. E-N-I-S is his name. Remember it well. 136 yards here in the first half and a touchdown on 16 carries. Only 2 ticks remaining on the first half clock, as we head for Valvoline Halftime 96. Valvoline, one of our new sponsors for the halftime programming. Enos also has 2 catches in the first half for 17 yards.
There's Franny Ganner. He was telling me the other day that Enos just loves football. He says he can't get enough of it. So he just he's always smiling. He's happy. He's having fun. He's not only does he run, he can catch. He's been a real delight to have around. Because he loves to run over people. He says he's got the speed and quickness to go around them, but we got to get him to stop running over them and start running around them.
It'll take a lot out of those legs in a very short time if you don't. Richardson getting pressure. The ball comes loose as he is hit and goes out of bounds, and they're going to call it an incomplete forward pass. As Darrell Russell decks Wally Richardson as we come to the end of the first half, with the Penn State Nittany Lions leading by a score of 10-0. Stay tuned now for the Valvoline Halftime 96. We go to the second half of play, and the Nittany Lions will have the ball first, leading by a score of 10-0 in the Kickoff Classic. Adam Rendon will kick it off for USC, and He's going to kick into an end of the stadium where the wind has seemingly been swirling. The ball not carrying quite as far. It's going to hang up, and it does at the 9-yard line. It's Cordell Mitchell to the 25-26, and it'll be first down. Here's a moment with Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, interestingly enough, Joe Paterno felt that having kind of a light training camp is helping him this afternoon. Says his guys' legs are very fresh. They seem to have a lot of snap to it, and obviously they're running the ball very well. I asked him about that drive where they threw the ball 3 times or twice and then ran the ball. He said USC was blitzing a lot, Bob and Keith, so he wanted to try and take advantage of it while he just rushed the timing just a bit. But he will continue to pound them and rush inside. Keith?
All right. See now what we do on this first play. With Enos in the backfield, he's got the ball. Finds a hole, and Sammy Knight makes the tackle as he comes to the 35-yard line. They'll mark him short of it, 34.
Look at the stats. First half, Penn State turned it over the first 2 plays and then was good after that. Total yardage, 228. Total yardage for USC is 157. And Enos, big time stats, over 135 yards in the first half rushing.
Ultimer, number 87, shifting over to the top of the screen. And in motion is Chris Campbell. Enos with the ball. Nope, it's Harris. Aaron Harris. Aaron Harris had a pretty good first half himself. Doesn't get much here.
So look at Penn State, what they did. As I mentioned, 2 interceptions. Then they had a punt. They scored on their 4th and 5th possessions. And then that last possession just before the half, they just had 3 plays. Took them a while to get warmed up, and then they kind of got their feet under them a little bit.
It is 3rd down and 2. Richardson's pass is completed to Jurevicius. He's got a first down out of the 42-yard line. So Penn State playing that conservative brand of offense, running the ball well as usual.
I think they're going to go back to this style of offense that Joe has always been known for, too, Keith. As I mentioned a couple of years ago, when he had all that offense at 12-0 and led the nation in offense and in scoring. 5 players off of that 94 offense went in the first round. He doesn't have that type of offense this year. They're going back to basics.
That's Harris. Slam, bang, smash mouth football over the left side.
Yep.
I'm coming. You try to stop me.
So this offensive line is not big. They're just going to have to pound you. They're not that big. It's not a big offensive line. These guys don't weigh 300. They're 270, 264. So Franny Ganner is calling the plays.
2nd down and 6. Ball at the 46. Richardson's pass is away, intended for Jurevicius, and Dylan McCutcheon was right in his vest pocket, and there was no way he was going to get to that ball.
It's a good matchup, too, because McCutcheon is a lot shorter than Jurevicius. Look at Russell, 96, rushing the passer. It's a quick throw here, it's a quick stop. He does a nice job of getting around the quick set and bringing the quarterback down. He's a load right there, that Russell.
They're going to have to step up the pace. More importantly, they're going to have to handle Enos. And I don't know if they can. 3rd down and 6. Richardson flushed out of the pocket, forced to run, and gets a first down at the Southern California 47-yard line. Curtis Enos, 18 carries and 144 yards in this ball game so far, and we're just starting the second half. That is a new Kickoff Classic record. I just wanted to make that point. The record was 140 by Alonzo Highsmith when Miami played Auburn back in 1984. Swanee, go ahead.
Well, Keith, Joe Paterno also said the pace of the game is playing right into their hands. One of the things he was concerned about was his defense. He was going to substitute liberally, but he said the offense did so well, kept them off the field, that they're in great shape, ready for the second half.
Yep, everything's going his way right now. This time the Trojans handle Enos. actually short of the line of scrimmage. That's an upset.
Well, the strength of USC is that defensive line, and I think since they're fresh coming out the second half, they're pretty aggressive. And I think if you're coming out fresh, the defensive line can handle that Penn State offensive line.
Willie Lowry, 91, and George Perry, the ends. Perry was in the backfield on that last play, helping to handle Enos. Is second down and a little bit more than 10 yards. This is Harris with the ball, and he got outside. He got outside and turned it on, and the man who made it work for everybody once he got outside was Chris Campbell, the flanker, who got downfield and did a good job of getting in the way.
Watch 39 to the right of your screen. Enos, he's going to get a block right there on the ground, just ties up the linebacker long enough. Harris runs around Pearsall, number 43, and then the wide receiver gets a block. Here's a look at Knight being blocked by Curtis Enos right there that made the play. Knight led the Trojans in tackles last year.
And it's first down for the Nittany Lions, down just short of the 20-yard line. Here comes Enos the other way, and he's still pounding, and he's got another first down. First and goal at about the 8-yard line, and he's going to break their back.
This is just tough running here. You know, Keith, the thing that amazes me is that Joe Paterno had this kid at linebacker last year, the first game of the season against Texas Tech. Joe said, well, he says, you know, I've moved players back and forth, and he does it all the time. He was a pretty good linebacker, too. Made a couple tackles in that game, but I think his spot is at running back.
First and goal from the 7. Enos pounds ahead inside the 5. .196 yards on the ground so far for Penn State. Just inside the 5-yard line. It'll be second down and goal. Richardson to the sideline, comes back. Leaving the ball game is number 21, Nastasi. Jurevicius coming wide to the right. All just inside the 5. This is Enos, and he's wrestled down at about the 4. A bit sticky in there with Kennelly and Russell.
And you see number 4 and number 9. Those guys are linebackers, and they're in the backfield, so that tells you that they're blitzing. You know, Keith, I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive style of defense in this year. The offenses have been dominating, and what can you do defensively? I think is attack and be more aggressive.
Curtis Enos is out, and Cordell Mitchell is in replacing him. This is the 12th play in this possession. And Richardson's pass incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Chris Campbell, and a penalty flag finally is thrown by the back judge on Dalen McCutcheon.
Well, he threw it immediately. He threw the flag immediately. It just hit another player and didn't get over there. Here's a look, one-on-one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dalen's got him tied up.
Got him mugged, yeah.
Everything but a rope.
And I say that the back judge, who's in the center of the field, threw the flag immediately. It just hit another player that was in the back of the end zone.
I didn't see it until it landed. So it'll make it first and goal. The ball will be at the 2, and Enos comes back. Trying to make it big. They lead 10-0. 9:15 to go in the third quarter. And they put the big boys all back there with Sloan and Harris and Enos. And it's Harris. Didn't get there. Down the bottom of that bunch, number 93, Anthony Sanford for Southern California.
And number 39, Curtis Enos. So you got a back that can run for 195, 200 yards. And Joe says, hey, there are no stars in our Penn State system. He had the fullback Harris running the ball and Enos, the halfback, blocking for him.
Well, let's see what happens this time. It's Harris again, over the top, fumbled the ball on the ground, picked up by the Trojans. Look out, number 42, Brian Kelly. You talk about frittering away chances.
Yeah, well, it's just what I was talking about. You're giving the ball to a fullback, Harris, who is a redshirt freshman. This is his first game playing in his football career, number 25. You're asking Enos, number 39, your star running back, to block for him. Why not give it to Enos and let him go over the top?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Southern California has blown 2 golden scoring opportunities, and now Penn State wastes 1.
There's no place I'd rather be.
It's the only one out there. And here it comes. Introducing the only compact pickup to offer a third door. Okay, folks, show's over. Chevy S-Series, like a rock.
Final say, strike your gate and win. Victory we predict for thee. We're ever true to you, dear old white and blue. Onward state, roar, Lions, roar. We'll hit that line, roll up the score, fight on to victory evermore.
Last year, they beat Dan Marino. Now more amateurs take on another group of pro stars in a flag football showdown. It's NFL Air It Out next on ABC.
Let's go back and take a look at that fumble from behind the defense. Harris, number 22. Watch from the right side, number 8. That is Cook. I think he is going to get his helmet on it. Cusano there, number 4. And then 42 right there, always around the football. That's Kelly. Picks it up and heads the other direction.
And he ran it out to the 23-yard line where it's Southern California's ball. First down and 10, and 8:22 to play in the third quarter. Penn State leading 10-0.
Why do you give it to your fullback and not your halfback, Keith?
Don't ask me. I don't know the answer. This is Woods. Cuts it back against the flow and will pick up about 4 yards on the carry. Tomorrow night on ABC, an all-new 2-hour special with Kate Jackson and people like you and me who are rediscovering what life is all about in the 90s. At least we're sure doing a whole lot of searching. Gail Sheehy's New Passages tomorrow night, plus ABC's news coverage of Campaign 96, the Democratic National Convention, live from Chicago. Well, it's 2nd down and 6. Woods again gets a block on the corner. Got a good block that time from Marvin Powell III. And he's going to have a first down.
Keith, we go back to that play on the goal line, and why do you give it to your fullback that's never carried the ball before in a game, hardly, and ask your star to block? Well, that's just the way Joe has always done it, and I don't disagree with what he means, and that is you don't want to be a star, only be a star. You got to block. The wide receivers have to block. The running backs have to block, and you have to be tough, and you got to do everything. The other thing is, there are going to be times when the fullback is going to need to carry the football, and they're going to have to run it in that way.
His pass is complete. He is down at the 47-yard line by Chris Miller. When you realize if Otten puts the ball on the money, Miller has one of the big games of the weekend. He's got a touchdown. He's got that big, long 60-yard play and all of that. But he's a good receiver. Miller has 4 catches for 83 yards. Billy Miller, on the other hand, who's assumed the position and the shirt of Keyshawn Johnson, has been very quiet. On first down, Otten gives the ball to Sermons. And there's virtually nothing there. Woods is coming back. Woods is 5'7", 190. Sermons is 6 foot 200. Woods is a little harder to find, searching for the running back behind all those big old trees in the offensive line. And so far, he's been able to find the crack a little better.
And they are big. They outweigh the defensive line by 50 pounds. USC's offensive line, 50 pounds per man. They outweigh them.
Second down and 9. Otten looking around, gets it away as he is hit from behind by Aaron Collins. Yes, he's a member of the Collins family. All 20 of them are going to be on Oprah tomorrow, I guess. They'll take up half the audience. That's some family, though. My goodness, that's a great story. Special kind of football.
Did it say 18 or 19?
Yeah, I think there's a total of 20.
20.
I thought it was
a lot of them.
It's a bunch. Almost 2 teams. Otten back on 3rd and long, getting heat again, gets his pass away. It is incomplete. It was intended for Billy Miller. He got it there too late for Miller to have a real chance because Aaron Collins, the linebacker, was right on him. And so the Penn State defense holds up, and the Trojans will have to punt. It'll be the 4th kick for Wren, who's had a pretty good day, 56, 41, and 53. Jim Wren was working last year as an assistant coach at Servite High School down in Anaheim, California. He was junior college All-American in 1994. That's a good kick. Coming up, making fair catch is Kim Herring, a senior from Solon, Ohio. And Penn State will have the ball at their own 18-yard line.
How do you know? You can see it in their eyes.
Take it on.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
The Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Penn State will come to the attack, leading 10-0, and pretty well controlling the game. I mean, they'd be leading 17-0 if things had been a little different on the last possession. Kenley and Knight leading tacklers for SC. Knight with 10 and Kenley 9. And Richardson has gone all the way at quarterback, gives the ball to Harris. Now remember, Aaron Harris was the man who fumbled the ball down on the goal line a moment ago, and you just knew that he would get the ball on the first snap.
That's smart play, and give the ball right back to him. He'd been sitting over there on the sideline, knowing that he fumbled and cost his team a touchdown. Enos is on the sideline. Harris is an outstanding player. Was a great high school player, one of the blue chip players that Penn State gets, and this is his first opportunity to play. He's going to be a good player.
You never have enough running backs.
Harris, 12 carries, 52 yards.
Chaffee Fields is in the ball game now. Redshirt freshman for the Lions out of Philadelphia. Chaffee Fields is number 2. He has the ball. And he just had his first taste of playing with the big boys. College football on ESPN comes back with a Big Ten matchup next Saturday. The Boilermakers of Purdue and the Michigan State Spartans will be on at 12:30 Eastern only on ESPN. Bob Greasy's alma mater.
Boilermakers, they're going to be tough this year.
Well, they might. They were tough last year.
Yes, they
If you
were.
Go back in
They
lost
win
a lot of close games.
A lot of close games they lost.
Cordell Mitchell back in now at the tailback, so Enos is getting some rest. And the pressure comes. Down goes Richardson, losing on the play. Back to about the 26-yard line. Matt Kennelly, number 92, senior, Laguna Hills, California, led the defensive surge.
He's a good kid. We were talking to him the other day. Kennelly, an academic All-American, really playing. He's been here 5 years, but he's playing really in the shadow the last couple of years of Darrell Russell, who plays right next to him because Russell is such an outstanding player. But they'll both be playing on Sundays next year. Playing on Sunday today, I guess.
So Matt's going to walk out of there with his sheepskin, too.
Yeah, you sure will.
Penalty flag thrown on the other side of the field, stopping the clock. The marker is back at the 26. They've got to go to near the 42 to get their first down.
We have a substitution infraction, 5 yards on the defense, 12 men on the field.
Oh, that's another mistake. Early season games are a nightmare.
Well, that's the type of mistake you expect to have if you're going to have it early in the season. You wouldn't expect to have that later down the road.
3rd and 11. Richardson back. They flush him. Can't throw it now. He's past the line of scrimmage. So he's got to take the hit. Tumbles into the crowd. Number 8. Number 8 has played a lot today. You know that?
Yes, he has. He's the first back in. He's the nickel back in that Trojan secondary. But Richardson, Wally, he'll see this on the tapes when they go over the game tapes. He could have run that ball, and if he would have just come up to the line of scrimmage and then said, all right, I'm taking off, just Lord, he could have been still running.
Yep. Instead, he comes up just short of his first down, and they'll punt it away with Darrell Kania, his second kick of the day. The first one was for 26 yards. Pressure. He got it away. And penalty flag. The hit by Scary Adams. Chad Morton was catching it. Adams came down and hit him. They did not give him room to field the ball.
In college football, it's not enough to let him catch it. You got to give him a little room. And even though he did catch it, he didn't hit him before he caught it. This is a close call.
Interference with the opportunity to catch on a 5-yard penalty within the 2-yard halo.
You got to give him a couple of yards, and that was very close.
That is the first Penn State penalty today, and it moves the ball out to the 22-yard line with 3 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the third quarter, and Penn State still leading 10-0.
Long ago, an inventor came up with the assembly line, allowing a few people to make a lot of something. It was the model for efficiency. At Chili's, we pride ourselves for our inefficiency, because we make each of the Big Mouth burgers by hand, grilled one at a time by a person. And when you taste for yourself how good they are, you'll appreciate all the time we've wasted. Chili's fresh grilled Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of DuraBlend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
It's the only one out there. And here it comes. Introducing the only compact pickup to offer a third door. Okay, folks, show's over. Chevy S-Series, like a rock.
The Goodyear blimp stars and stripes up above Giant Stadium with that picture, having come from Williamsport. The man at the controls is not an impartial spectator. That's Jim Maloney. The good doctor is a Trojan with a PhD in electrical engineering. But it ain't over yet, Jim. I just wanted to tell you, these two dudes have been with us for 15 years. Todd Barry and, what was your name? Oh, Dave Burnson. Todd is a spotter and David our statistician, and we've had a lot of fun.
Most of the time they give the right information.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Here comes USC with Woods carrying the ball. The biggest running play of the game for USC as Lavelle Woods pops it all the way out to the 41-yard line.
It's a draw trap for one of the offensive linemen. Watches one of the offensive linemen. That's the right guard. Claridge couldn't see the number, but draw trap. They're in a passing mode, so the passing draw plays, screens, and throw. And that's the only type of running play that USC is going to be able to run today.
They're down by 10 points in the ball game. They'll run it again. This time it's Rodney Sermons carrying, and he'll get it up to the 45 for a pickup 4 yards. If you got to do something, it's a pretty good time to start right about now.
Yeah, well, I think they're saying, all right, we need to go to our shotgun offense, the same thing that we did in the Rose Bowl, and just say, all right, think pass first. Don't even worry about a running game except for draw plays. And those two last plays were draw plays. Show pass and then run.
2nd down and 6. Check it off. Just got it off.
Here they come.
In the air, anybody's ball. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I don't know, a 6'6" quarterback ought not to be having that ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. He was trying to drill it down in behind the linebacker.
Exactly, Keith. He was just trying to throw it like 5 yards downfield. He wasn't trying to throw it deep. He was just trying to dump it over the line, and that's why it was deflected.
That's the 2nd time now we've seen him really look at his hand. I wonder if it might be bruised a bit.
I think earlier he bruised that arm or the hand, something when he was throwing it.
Bastianelli going to the top. Chris Miller coming to this side. Miller and Miller. The Miller boys, Chris and Billy, are at the bottom of the screen. 3rd down. Down the middle, the pass is incomplete. Lavelle Woods and Chris Miller were both there. Miller got his hands on it, and it's incomplete. So on 4th and 6, they don't do anything. 3rd and 6 rather, and now the 4th down, they'll punt it away. This will be the 5th punt of the day by Jim Wren. Kim Herring again is deep for Penn State. Snapping has been good. Kim Herring, and he got a little room this time. And he breaks up his afternoon activity with a little scamper back out to about the 25-yard line. 38-yard punt, 8-yard return. On Saturday, the PGA Tour will spend the Labor Day weekend in Wisconsin for the Greater Milwaukee Open presented by Light Beer. Coverage begins Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific here on ABC Sports. Curtis is playing and talking. Mike McQuarrie is in the ball game. Junior, State College, Pennsylvania. Grew up right around the campus. 6'4", 215, recruited by Joe, likes him very much, going to get some seasoning right here.
I think this is smart, getting your backup quarterback into the game early in the season.
Contact, Kennelly was moving. I don't know if he was drawn. Backup center's also in the ball game.
Illegal snap on the offense.
Funny things happen when fresh people come into the ball game. Here's Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, whether USC is playing good or bad, there's one man who is always there, Giles Pellerin. Giles, this is your 764th consecutive game. Have a hard time getting up for all these games?
No, not too bad. No, I think that's what keeps me going. But I keep waiting from December until January for the next season to start.
Hold on 1 second, Giles.
89. Do something. Into the middle, Curtis Enos. Back to Giles Pellerin.
Well, the last game you missed for USC, I read, was back in 1925. Why'd you miss the game?
Well, I'll tell you, I was a freshman at USC. I got a job with a telephone company, and I had to work 6 days a week, and one of the days was on Saturday, so I didn't go to the game. But in 1926, I made up my mind I was going to go all the game, and I'm going to every game since then.
Well, your diligence and your faithfulness has netted you the first Fan of the Year award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Keith.
Thank you, Swanee. Backups all across the front now in front of Mike McCreary. So these are fresh people, fresh legs. Anything can happen. McCreary lets it go to the sideline. Pass is complete to Chris Campbell. It's going to be close. It might be a bit short. Looks like he's about a yard short. But you've got Eric Cole, Bill Anderson, Kevin Conlon, Dan Drogan, and John Blick. John Blick, remember that name, 6'6", 330-pound freshman from Saylorsburg.
True freshman, just playing in his first game. You're seeing more and more of that, Keith, even at the major programs like these two schools because of the limit 85 scholarship. Just need the players.
You can't hide, John. That's number 78. 6'6", 330. Dalen McCutcheon. Dalen McCutcheon is 175 pounds. He's playing quarterback, and he came up and took him down behind the line of scrimmage to force the punt.
Trying that same play with the fullback that he ran very well the last time. McCutcheon, not very big, but good play coming up and make the tackle. You've got to play defense. You got to be able to tackle if you play corner.
Almost got this the last time. Chris Miller just missed blocking it. They're coming again, but it's away. Cook got some pressure on it that time. Chad Morton backs up and lets it bounce, and it bounces up and into the hands of a Penn Stater at the 20-yard line. There, USC will have the ball. That's a 47-yard punt. Now you get to a point in the ball game where will is about to be tested.
Well, the thing to remember here, and USC has not done much offensively all day, is that you're only down 10 points.
Yep.
And still have another quarter to play. So if we could get something going here, speaking about USC, you could go down and score. You're right in this ball game. Even though you haven't done anything, you're only 10 points down. So don't give up.
54 seconds to go in the third quarter. 10-0 Penn State. From the 21, this is Cook. The Woods. It's Woods. Lavelle Woods. And again, he's got a gain on it. He's played well. Stocky.
Well, as you mentioned, he is stocky. There's that young offensive line. Young but huge. That's Claridge, 71, pulling around. Nice little play. Shows he has good feet for an offensive lineman that weighs over 300 pounds to be able to pull and get around the corner and still get your shoulders up to block a linebacker.
Lavelle Woods getting 4 yards on the play. He's got 57 now on 11 carries. Got it again. Nothing this time. Number 44, fella named Jim Russell, just met him head on and stopped him. Time gone, third quarter. We'll be back with more between the Southern California Trojans and Penn State after this message and the word from our ABC stations.
Like a
6 World Series, 6 basketball seasons, 6 hockey playoffs, 6 football seasons, and just 1 tune-up after 100,000 miles.
Vortec engines. One more reason to drive a Chevy truck. Chevy trucks.
Hyperkeratosis? Symptom: persistent, itchy, flaky scalp. Solution: Neutrogena T-Gel. It works. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. Recommended #1 by dermatologists.
Get a tough case of athlete's foot, and you're benched. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough Actin Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
What is a townie? Someone who respects authority.
Can't believe the police broke up our party. I can't believe they left their car unlocked.
Molly Ringwald in Townies, ABC Wednesdays this September.
You don't have to go to extremes to drive the car or truck you want today. We've already done it. Just see your Chevy Geo dealers during their end-of-model year Extreme Savings event and get a no-down payment lease. No down payment and just $199 a month on Cavalier. No down payment and just $339 a month on Blazer. Or get a Blazer and get $1,250 cash back. Hurry, see your Chevy Geo dealers today. You'll be extremely glad you did.
Announcing the Lexus award-winning sales event. Your opportunity to take advantage of exceptional values whether you buy or lease. And considering that we've also just received new awards from J.D. Power & Associates, you'll see we have ample reason to toot our own horn. In our own way, of course. See your Lexus dealer today for model year-end values.
The live Pennsylvania lottery drawing tonight at 7.
The final quarter. USC, which has been relatively inept all day offensively. Penn State sitting on a 10-0 lead. As we start the fourth quarter, USC is at 3rd down and 4 on their own 27-yard line. Sermons and Woods are both in the backfield. Pass is away down the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Pass was thrown into traffic, intended for John Allred, the tight end.
Filardi did a nice job, too, right there with him. Penn State defense doing a job all day.
So Jim Wren comes in to punt, and Kim Herring. So the stats come up. What they do? Clean the board and wait for next week? Is that what it is?
I know the offenses haven't been very good, but they got more than just a bunch of zeros.
Here's the snap. Pressure on it again, but he got it out of there. Both punters have felt a little heat the last couple of times, and that is a terrific kick. Inside the 10, out of bounds at the 7. Wow. That's a 66-yard punt and no return. Here's Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, you know, as soon as you leave, you become the old, and here this is the old number 3, Keyshawn Johnson, and the rookie for the New York Jets. Keyshawn, you're looking at your teammates play. You played with them last year. Your assessment how this offense is doing?
I think right now, you know, they're struggling a little bit. There's some new wrinkles in there, and, you know, I was talking to Coach Riley at halftime, and they're young. Billy Miller's a young receiver. Chris is the only guy with much experience. They have another guy in R.J. Soares who hasn't played too much, so they're struggling right now. I think that as the year wears on, they'll get better and better.
When you were a young player at USC and you first came here, is there anything you remember that you could tell them that could help them be better right away?
Just be patient. You know, the thing about it is they have to be patient. It'll come around, and, you know, the chemistry, and I think that most of them are excited right now, and they just have to relax and take their time, and the balls will come to them if they run the right routes.
Well, you're no longer a Trojan, you're a Jet. The biggest transition for you so far in your short training camp?
You know, the speed adjustment is difficult. It's a little bit faster pace, and they're trying to knock my helmet off every time. Where on college level, everybody was pretty much the same.
That touchdown in the preseason game?
Just one of many.
Okay, good luck. Keith?
All right.
All right, this is Curtis Enos, and running loose. There's his speed. Boy, I tell you what, if I'm going to go down into my book and come up with 18-wheeler. I mean, he is a thoroughbred something, isn't he?
Well, we said something about this guy early. Ostrowski gets a good block and he breaks a tackle. But we featured this guy in the opening, and he is something special. He's been a man among boys today as Kelly finally gets over to knock him out.
And it's first down for Penn State at the Southern California 27-yard line. Aaron Harris and Chaffee Fields are in the backfield right now. And this is Fields. Now Harris. And he's got a pretty good gain out of it. Enos with 225 yards in the game today.
Here's a look at the numbers after 3 quarters. First downs, USC has only had 8 compared to 20 for Penn State. Rushing for Penn State is 211. That just went up with that long run. And time of possession, Penn State quite a bit in favor.
First down as the marker moves down to about the 17-yard line. Or they're going to measure, I guess, and see whether or not he got it. Got to come all the way across the field because he was shoved out of bounds. Just short.
Here's a look at the ex-linebackers' stats for the day.
The first offensive line is back on the field now for Penn State. All the starters. Touchdown here might be a door slammer.
You mentioned the first line and the first group back in there, Keith. I said something a while back when McQuarrie was in there, the backup quarterback. I think it's good for any team to get their backup quarterbacks in there, because if they don't get them in early in the season and something happens to their quarterback, then you got to break in the second team or the third team quarterback again. It's much easier to do it in the first, second ball game of the year. There's a look at Wally on the sideline.
This is Harris. You don't hold him in the stack. He just spins off of it, goes on down inside the 10-yard line. Oh, you know what? He remembers that fumble at the top of the stack down at the other end of the field. Vividly, he remembers.
He just got beat up by one of his offensive linemen, trying to congratulate the freshman for running tough and not giving up. Tough run. Now I can see why Fran Ganner was high on this young man. Look at him, just not giving up.
15 carries, 71 yards for Aaron Harris. Timeout. Penn State, 13:28 to go in a ball game. Penn State 10-0 and threatening.
The job needs 4 guys now, and the guys need all their equipment. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150, the only full-size pickup with a standard Super Cab third door, 60/40 split rear bench, and standard dual airbags, plus a taller cab for more hat and boot room than ever. After all, the guys aren't getting any smaller. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Long ago, an inventor came up with the assembly line, allowing a few people to make a lot of something. It was the model for efficiency. At Chili's, we pride ourselves for our inefficiency, because we make each of the Big Mouth burgers by hand, grilled one at a time by a person. And when you taste for yourself how good they are, you'll appreciate all the time we've wasted. Chili's fresh grilled Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
Illinois
Illinois battles the mighty Michigan Wolverines in the Big Ten season opener. Washington State tackles Colorado, or other regional action Saturday on ABC's College Football.
This is a starting offensive tackle, number 69, Jason Henderson. He left the game in the middle of the third quarter. The report is he has a fractured foot. Came out of the ball game, limped into the locker room. They have x-ray facilities there, and it'll be a big loss for the Penn State offensive line. Keith?
Eric Cole is at the position, and has been since the injury. First and goal from the 10. And this is touchdown Enos.
Number 8 is going to miss the tackle right there. Just too much speed and power to get around the end.
Conway for the extra point. Good. There have been a lot of great backs have big days in this ball game. A year ago, it was Eddie George who had a big game as Ohio State won going away. But nobody has ever had a bigger game than this fellow, Curtis Enos.
The legendary chalice of Malta has never come cheap. In 1238, it was captured by 10,000 Celts. In 1512, it took an entire armada. And in 1703, it took an arranged marriage to the daughter of Charles V, the older one. But luckily, if you want the golden chalice of Malta, all you need is the golden card of Visa, with extraordinary purchase power for extraordinary things. It's even mightier than the sword. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
Mind if I ask you something?
No, go ahead.
Say you've got some horrible emergency, like a broken leg, but you're in Tampa. Who would you call?
Don't know.
Okay, how about Columbia? They are the largest healthcare provider in the nation.
Really?
Pretty much wherever you go, they'll take care of you.
I didn't know that.
So say you are pregnant in Denver. Who are you gonna call?
6 o'clock news.
Thank you.
This is Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty. It's made for the smart, the intelligent thrifty. It's new out and in, has airbags for 2. Even anti-lock brakes are available. Ooh, the trunk, it is huge to hold tremendous treasure. And if your treasure is of stupendous measure, the rear seat folds down to let bigger things in, still leaving room for your next of kin's kin. It has all the whatsits and gidgets, to put it concisely, and Escort's right price should suit you quite nicely.
The Super Bowl champion Cowboys start the season in prime time against the big bad Chicago Bears. Labor Day night on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, that's Mr. Enos under the towel. He's earned the respite. He has gained 234 yards today on 25 carries and scored twice. No other running back ever has done that against Southern California. Russell White, in the game against Cal in 1991, had 229 yards. So Curtis Enos is forever inscribed on the walls of the foe in Troy.
Got his name out of USC in one way or the other, didn't he?
2 yards deep, and coming out, it's McCutcheon. Look out. One step, and he might have been gone. But he didn't get it. Coming up next, Chris Carter, Thurman Thomas, Jeff Blake, and Mike Sherrard may be in over their heads as they take on flag football's national champions on NFL Air It Out from Universal Studios in Florida, right after our game here on ABC Sports.
That ought to be kind of interesting.
Wonder if they'd like to play an extra quarter in the postgame.
Yeah. We could comment on some of that play.
From the 27, intercepted by Kim Herring. Brings it back to about the 23-yard line. Penalty flag on the field.
Illegal block in the back, on the return, 10 yards, first down.
Penalties against Penn State, illegal block, interception by Herring. Ball came right to it. Ball comes back to the 42.
He gets hit just as he throws this ball. Watch from the left side, Keith. Can't see who it is, but somebody with a good rush. It looked like Schneider, 91, knocks him off balance, and Herring, who is an outstanding athlete back there at free safety. He picked off 4 passes last year. There's the block in the back right there. Herring ran 1 back for a touchdown last year, so get as much as you can and get down.
Enos behind the line of scrimmage, ducks away from the attack, and turns it back upfield and picks up 3 yards.
Enos needs what? About 22 yards to break the all-time record?
Yeah, the all-time Penn State record for rushing in a ball game is 356 yards by Kurt Warner.
No, not 3, 250.
I mean 256 yards, yeah. 1981 by Kurt Warner against Syracuse. Kurt's mark is somewhat in danger if anybody on the sideline remembers, or if they really care. McQuarrie back, gets a little heat, hit his arm. Trojan did as he came by. Darrell Russell in there in the struggle, and he got a piece of it, and the ball is incomplete.
That's Big Daddy Darrell Russell. He's still fighting. He is a load right there.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 for Penn State. Time remaining is 12 minutes and 18 seconds. Here comes the blitz, picked up. McQuarrie's passes away. He's got a man down there. It is complete. A penalty flag is thrown. It's Joe Juravicius beating Ken Haslett.
There's a look at the protection. Little play action pass. Juravicius is going to have 7 inches. Right there's a late hit by Russell, 96. Juravicius is 6'5". Haslett, there's a hold right there, which is called. 7 inches he has. You can kind of tell it right there. Nice throw and a nice play.
So McQuarrie, who took a lick.
It's good, some good playing time for McQuarrie, though.
Yep. Enos.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, Lenny.
That's the kind of play a receiver always come back in the huddle. He's begging for the quarterback to throw it to him.
Yeah.
He's been doing that all day long.
I know.
Enos is back in the lineup. McQuarrie gives it to him. Here he comes around the corner. Touchdown.
From behind the defense, Papadakis is 35. Enos just says, I'm just going to beat you to the sideline. Cusano doesn't get there in time. Power and speed.
Conway's kick is good. Now the Nittany Lions. They have locked it up at 24-0.
The loads are getting heavier, and the stumps are just getting more stubborn. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. Our new Triton V8 cranks out even more power and torque. Our V6 out-muscles every standard truck engine in its class. And the first scheduled tune-up's 100,000 miles away. After all, the road's not getting any shorter. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess, except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
It was just...
The Kickoff Classic on ABC Sports, brought to you by the new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength. By Burger King, where you get your burger's worth. And Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work. Curtis Enos Kickoff Classic records include these: 240 yards, 241 yards for the most yards, most carries 27, tied with Tommy Frazier of Nebraska for the most touchdowns with 3. You can have the rest of the afternoon off, unless you feel like doing a little blocking.
And he's sitting down there with his offensive line, which is always a good idea.
That's way back into the end zone. Chris Miller beyond the field of play. So out to the 20 they come, and a beleaguered and somewhat battered Brad Otten comes out at quarterback. Time of possession now has grown pronounced. 18:47 for USC, almost 35 minutes. That's almost double. They run it with Lavelle Woods. But this is how you're going to, they will survive in the conference.
Well, this
they must run the ball in the Pac-10.
You've got to be able to run it, and even though you're going to lose this game, that young offensive line for USC is going to play the rest of this game and get some experience. They're going to get better. This line is going to be good. I'm not saying they're not good. They're just young, inexperienced. None of them have played. They'll be a force in the Pac-10.
Tell you what, you can hear the helmets up here, so there are folks still popping each other. And there's still people looking to prove things. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. We'll go with regional action here on ABC's College Football. Most of you will see the Big Ten matchup with Illinois going into Ann Arbor against Michigan. That's a good ball game, very important game. Washington State's at Colorado. Clemson beats North Carolina, and Texas Tech goes to Kansas State in Manhattan. Check your local listing for the game on your ABC stations, or the game's available from your cable operator. That pass is a little bit off the mark, and the receiver can't reel it in. Billy Miller.
Otten and Billy Miller are not connecting today. That's one thing they got to come out of this game, look at films and say, why weren't we hooking up? They got a lot of talent in the receiving corps, but they are just not hooking up here today.
Chris Campbell has come back up the field now as the return man for Penn State at 10 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the game. Wren's kick. Gonna give him a little room to run. Can't get it cranked. And he goes down at the 41. So looking at those who come out onto the field now, we're going to see a lot of people. Penn State. Kevin Thompson is a redshirt freshman who has not played today. He's the quarterback out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. Mike McQuarrie comes out, the number 2 man, and he continues to take the snaps here in the 4th quarter. Ball is handed to Chris Eberly. And Chris Eberly, you know, they told me that they thought Chris Eberly might wind up being the backup to Curtis Enos. But this is the first time we've seen him today.
Yeah, well, Eberly's been back and forth in his career. He's a sophomore. He's been back on defense as a strong safety when they had some guys hurt last year, and then he moved him back over to offense this year because Enos, really, the experience behind him was nobody. They had nobody that had played there in a game, and Eberly's back on offense this year. So a talented guy can go both ways.
This is Jason Slode, starting fullback in there, carrying there. He hasn't seen the ball much, but he's done a good job blocking. I think maybe the guy that stepped up and made a place for himself at the table today for Penn State is Aaron Harris.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I think, Keith, when you go from one season to another, from one team to another, everybody says, well, you got to be better than you got to do the same things you did last year. So, well, no, you're going to wait and let the teams develop. You're going to go into these games, like, for instance, you just mentioned Aaron Harris for Penn State. He's developed at fullback. They're going to use him a lot more this year.
Query back, pressure coming, passes away, and it is incomplete, intended for Juravicius. They need Joe Juravicius to be a prominent personality in their passing game because he is their biggest target. And he done well enough today, but not as well as they need.
And he will. He'll be a player.
Yeah. He's caught 4 for 63 yards. Chad Morton is back to receive the punt from Darrell Kenya now. He's 4th of the day. Morton's got a little room with this one now. Get a block. Got it. He got him. And he's still up. And finally down at the 30. So it's a 46-yard punt. Pretty good return by Chad Morton.
You know, it would not surprise me a great deal, Keith, if we saw these two teams in the Rose Bowl. But it would surprise me a great deal if they were not tremendously different teams. Yep. They're both going to improve tremendously over the course of the season. You're just seeing one of the superstars right here today in Curtis Enos.
This is Rodney Sermons running the ball for USC, and he runs for 5, maybe 6. Before Brian Miller makes the tackle. And we'd like to thank Goodyear and the crew of the Stars and Stripes. Dr. Jim for providing today's aerials. 13th consecutive Kickoff Classic for Goodyear Blips. Mickey Whitman came by a little while ago. Fun to see Mickey. Great folks. We've had a lot of fun with them over the years, and they've done a great service for all of us, providing spectacular pictures. This is Sermons across the 40 to the 41, and that may very well be a first down.
If the Goodyear blimp is around, it must be a big event.
Yep,
huh?
yep. It's absolutely the truth. Southern California's offense today, 7 punts, 1 interception, 1 fumble, 1 missed field goal, and a turnover on down.
Well, they've had 5 possessions in the second half, 4 punts and 1 interception. So it's just been an exercise in futility here for the second half.
Lavelle Woods is in the deep spot on the first down snap. Otten. There they go. That's the first sack of the day. And it's done by Courtney Brown, a freshman from Alvin, South Carolina.
That play just took too long to develop. Left side of your screen, he's looking to the left side. 78 there is Douglas, Rome Douglas. The route takes too long to develop. And you just can't wait that long. Courtney Brown is one of those true freshmen playing in his first ball game here today.
That's Sermons up the middle. He gets about half of what they lost on the sack. And it'll be third down at about 13. Over 77,000 bought tickets, came. Those who carried the colors of the blue and white going home with
a lot more of those than they were the other side.
Yep. Ottens pass, drilled down the middle, complete to Mike Bastianelli. And that'll be a first down. So on 3rd and long, they come up with a big play and move the chain.
There's a look at Rome Douglas. He's one of the new offensive tackles. He had not played much before this game, before this year. Interesting where he got his first name, Rome. His parents were married in Rome, Italy. And they just kind of liked that name. Said, we're just going to name our son Rome. He's had a learning experience today over there on that corner against that Penn State defensive line.
Bernardell, Noble, Short, Snyder. Keep you busy. But the backup people along that defensive front for Penn State are all very young. Sophomore, freshman.
It's Jerry Sandusky, defensive coordinator. He's playing without Brian Scioli, one of the better defensive linemen. Had a knee in the spring, is going to miss the entire season.
2nd down and 6. And Rodney Sermons runs it down to about the 35. And we're showing 5 minutes and 15 seconds to play.
Penn State #1. What's up, UC? How you doing, Mom?
Curtis, go ahead and say hi to everybody you know. If the time permits, and we're going to have a lot of time, I guarantee you. We'll have the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report for you, featuring scores, highlights, and a couple of itinerant singers if they pass by with a banjo.
Combine audition.
This is Woods breaking it for the first down. He'll get it down to about the 22-yard line. Well, to see a junior out of Chandler, Arizona. And speaking of Arizona's, the Arizona State team with Jake Plummer at quarterback looks like a legitimate challenger in the Pac-10. They may very well be a team that has to be reckoned with.
I agree with you, Keith, and I think this team right here, USC, is going to be there. If they don't win it, they'll be right there determining who does.
This is Woods getting a block on the corner. As he turns back in, however, he is tumbled down by number 52, wearing the blue and white. That is Maurice Daniels, another redshirt freshman from Alexandria, Virginia. Both these teams are young enough, and Penn State in particular, I think, if they're not a force this year, they will be next year. They'll be pretty deep next year. This is Sermons Johnson to the outside, getting a first down.
Well, both of these teams get the top recruits, so they're both in the top 5 or 6, 7 or 8 recruiting classes in USC or Penn State. And that's why we're seeing some of these kids play as true freshmen in the first game of the year. They're just that good.
3.5 minutes to go. Well, they keep running it. That time there was penetration, and Sermons is short of the line of scrimmage. Clint Searce, or Cease it is, Cease, sophomore out of Thorndale, Pennsylvania, getting the penetration, number 35, to stop him at the 10-yard line.
From the offensive standpoint, you like to get on the board, Keith. You never want to be shut out. First game of the year especially, you want to get a touchdown. So next week or the week after, when you have to go to Illinois, you say, all right, we've already scored. Now, if you get shut out, then you're still looking for your first touchdown the next game 2 weeks from now.
They will have DeLon Washington back for the Illinois game in 2 weeks. But I'll tell you, I don't care who you are, if you go to Champaign, you can have a long afternoon. they've got to go to Champaign. Joe on the left and John on the right.
Joe's the winningest active coach and the oldest Division I AA coach. He'll turn, what, 70 later on this year?
Yeah, December. When Rip Engel hired him as a young assistant at State College, he came on a bus. He didn't even have a driver's license. He had played quarterback for Rip over at Brown. The pass is dropped. Just simply been that kind of a day.
Yeah, it was certainly catchable, but he could have thrown it better. He had nobody in his face. He could have thrown the ball better, but he should have caught it. And if he would have caught it, he would have scored.
Yep. The red carpet was there. Joe could tell some funny stories about when he went out recruiting. He'd have to hitchhike and he'd ride the bus. He'd never been west of the Hudson before he was hired at Penn State. And he's been there ever since. 31 years as the head coach. It's 4th down for the Trojans out of the shotgun. And they run it with Woods carrying. And Woods gets down to about the 2-yard line. And Penn State may very well take over the ball and keep USC out of the end zone. The last time Penn State shut out an opponent was Iowa in 1993. And the last time the Southern California Trojans were shut out was 1990, 31-0 for the Washington Huskies. Minute 53 to go in the game. And folks wearing the blue and white are having a hoot.
Fight on for Old Missy. Come and fight on to victory. Our alma mater dear looks up to you. Fight on and win for Old Missy. Fight on for Old Missy. Come and fight on to victory. Our alma mater dear looks up to you. Fight on and win for Old Missy. Fight on to victory. Fight on.
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car is insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
My name is John Anderson, born in 1914.
My age is 90.
George Hartman, I'm 101.
As we approach our 100th anniversary, we honor those who worked at the side of Henry Ford. Their spirit and commitment to quality lives on in every man and woman of today's Ford Motor Company.
Brightly glows the future for these fellows as they've had a fine outing, leading by a score of 24-0 against the team. Penn State was ranked 11th in the preseason AP poll, and USC was ranked 7th. But it's the number 11 folks that are going home with the trophy. Kevin Thompson is in there at quarterback, and he hands the ball off to Anthony Cleary, who is in there at fullback. We told you a little while ago that Kevin Thompson is the number 3 quarterback, and Anthony Cleary is listed as the number 3 fullback. Chaffee Fields, the young freshman from Philadelphia, redshirter, is in there at the tailback. What a long day it's been for boys wearing the white shirts.
And Brad Otten had a great day in the Rose Bowl. They went in, beat Northwestern. He had a super outing, throwing for almost 400 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And a lot of guys left. Now he's back for his senior year. Thought it was going to be a great start, but there'll be better days for Brad Otten.
Chaffee Fields on that carry. Not much there. Not much to do now except just simply run out the clock with a minute left to play.
Penn State had 10 players drafted by the NFL after last season. That's more than any other team in college football. And now they've reloaded. They lost a couple of offensive linemen in the first round. They lost both their backs. They lost 2 running backs and 2 fullbacks. They were all drafted. They lost a lot, but they just reloaded.
shut him out.
Well, it took a poor exchange between the third-string quarterback and the third or fourth-string tailback on a poor toss to get John Robinson's crew off the snide.
Chafee Fields is going to lose it on the pitch.
Yeah.
Pitch was high.
That was right there. He should have had that one.
I can't tell you who recovered it. 55. Claiborne was right there, but or rather Claret. Who was it? Claiborne.
Claiborne.
I don't know the facts. Here's the extra point try. It is good by Adam Abrams, and so the Trojans finally get on the scoreboard. 24-7 with 29 seconds to play.
Three decades since he last thundered the immortal words, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." A new generation of football players can only imagine what Vince Lombardi would say if he stood astride the gridiron today.
Hey, Shakespeare, shut your pie hole and let's play football.
That ought to get your testosterone percolating.
At Budget Car and Truck Rental, we're in a simple business. It's about joining the right vehicles with the right individuals all over the world and in your neighborhood. And when you see people as individuals, it makes a big difference in the way you treat them. Here's some news from Budget that'll make a big difference to you. Starting September 3rd, get any Budget car up to a full size for just $25 per day on the weekends with unlimited mileage. Call 800-BUDGET-7 today.
To compete overseas, you can't go it alone. You need to be part of a team. A world-class competitor that's fast and well-trained. A team that knows the territory around the world. Global delivery services from the U.S. Postal Service. If you're going places overseas, ride with us. No one delivers like the U.S. Postal Service.
It's the last play where the fumble occurred. Just took his eyes off of it. Looked like to me he was looking where he was running. 55, Claiborne there, the true freshman's going to get on it.
Penn State's got all, it's again, this is practice, but they've got all the good hands people up there anticipating SC might be inclined to try an onside kick here. 29 seconds to play. You might as well practice. The ball game is gone. It's Penn State 24-7. So
it doesn't look like they know what the score is.
No, that's right. So let's practice. He kicks it away. Oh, look at this. Chafee Fields goes down, takes it a yard deep in the end zone, and his teammates weren't expecting it, and here he comes.
That should be a touchback. Once the ball breaks the plane of the end zone, it should be a touchback.
I thought so, but he comes out with it, and they leave it there.
Did it not break the plane? Yeah,
Yes,
it did.
of course it did. It bounced in the end zone.
Yeah.
This will be Joe Paterno's 279th win.
Yeah.
And he has no inclination, indication, nor feeling about not continuing for a time.
It's his 31st year as head coach at Penn State. He's been around there for something like
47.
47 is right.
37. The crowd today, as Cordell Mitchell runs the ball, 77,716. So the final seconds will tick off at Giant Stadium, and the 14th Kickoff Classic has been won by Penn State, making their third appearance, defeating Southern California by a score of 24-7. The Chevy most valuable players of the game, genuine Chevrolet most valuable players, Matt Kennelly, Southern California, Curtis Enos of Penn State. Kenley had 12 tackles for the Trojans. Enos 241 yards and 3 touchdowns. Records for this game. Chevrolet donating $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Now stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report featuring scores and highlights from across the country.
Billy wants to work on airplanes someday. Maybe one that you fly in. Now, would you like to call for this free booklet of simple ways to improve his education?
Hey, sit down for stand-up comedian Greg Giraldo.
We're all such whiners, you know? I saw this woman on TV the other day. She actually said, what can be worse than dandruff flakes? Well, I don't know, brain tumor, those are pretty bad.
You'll see lots more of Greg Giraldo on Common Law, coming to Saturdays this September on ABC.
How have Heckinger's low prices affected you?
Well, that's where I bought my lawnmower. Saved plenty. And they had such a great price on fertilizer and lawn food. I couldn't help myself. Bought 50 bags.
Heckinger prices are too low to resist, like Quikrete 40-pound concrete mix for a low $1.45 and a 5-gallon pail of Thompson's Wood Protector and amazing $52.50.
Grasshoppers.
Heckinger, the low price keeps you coming back.
So where's Alec?
I don't know. It didn't work out. He was too complicated. And he wore alligator loafers.
Since 1873, original Coors in the yellow can.
Alligator loafers?
Announcing the Lexus award-winning sales event. Your opportunity to take advantage of exceptional values whether you buy or lease. And considering that we've also just received new awards from J.D. Power & Associates, you'll see we have ample reason to toot our own horn. In our own way, of course. See your Lexus dealer today for model year-end values.
Action News at the Democratic Convention tonight.
The Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. Great cars in over 50 countries around the world. Best of all, it's thrifty. Here now, Keith Jackson.
Well, the sun is still bright and shiny over Giant Stadium, but it was a gloomy afternoon for the Southern California Trojans. They came in with high hopes, ranked 7th in the nation, and got slapped around pretty roundly by the Penn State Nittany Lions, winning by a score of 24-7, and Penn State virtually dominated the ball game. Certainly Southern California didn't help themselves with the kind of offensive sluggishness that they showed in the ball game, Bob.
Well, I think you're right, and I think the youth in the offensive line for USC was more telling than the opposite way, but they're going to be a good offensive line before the year's over with.
Now let's join Lynn Swan down on the field.
Keith, thank you very much. Joe, you were just telling the guys as soon as they get into the locker room and take a shower, they're getting that bus. It'll be a long bus ride back to State College.
It would have been a lot longer if the score had been there, but we've got about a 4.5-hour bus ride back to State College.
It seemed almost from the beginning, SC making mistakes, not taking advantage of opportunities, but your team on the offensive and defensive line seemed to have their way.
Well, I really, as I told you before the game, I thought we would be quick because we really haven't worked that hard because of a kind of a different preseason we had. The weather, the pace of the game was just ideal for us because we didn't have to play a lot of the younger kids on defense early in the games, which really helped us because we were going to have to play a lot of young kids. And if Southern Cal had kept the ball for long periods, we would have had our hands full. But it worked out fine. They didn't catch the ball as well as they will in the whole bit. But kids played hard, played tough, and obviously I'm very pleased.
You said you were coming back in the second half. Curtis Enos was running tremendously well for you, but you wanted to work on throwing the football.
Well, I felt, we got young wideouts, and they got to learn how to play football. And And Curtis is an outstanding back and had a great day. And we know what he can do, but we want to win, obviously, but we also want to make sure we're getting a little bit better for the rest of the year.
Your thoughts? You brought in your backup quarterback fairly early to get some quality time for the rest of the season?
Wally was having trouble with a groin pull, and he said, I'd rather not go because we kept aggravating it. And I figured we have a lot of confidence in McQuarrie. He's been around a long time, and he's a good leader, and he does well when he gets in there. So I didn't want to aggravate Wally's injury.
You come away with a win. Everybody looks good. But what are the things you think you need to work on after this ball game?
Well, I said, they bounced our wideouts around. We really didn't have a real smooth passing game. Curtis got us out of the jam almost by himself and a couple of big long runs. We got to get a lot more cohesive. We got to do a lot of things a lot better. But we got 2 weeks to get ready, and I think we will be better.
It seemed physically you were just on top of this game.
Well, we were ready to play. There was no question about that.
Coach, thank you very much. Keith?
You want to talk to Curtis?
All right, Swanee, thanks very much. And we'll talk to this big fella soon as we take this break with Thrifty.
It's the perfect landing. It's another business day. It's friendly blue waiting there for you. It's traveling your way. And best of all, it's Thrifty. Ooh, you'll be so satisfied. Best of all, it's Thrifty. Renting cars with pride worldwide.
6 championships meant towering headaches, but Anacin helped keep me playing. I tried other products, but I came back to Anacin. Regular strength, Bayer, Buffer, even Tylenol can't match Anacin.
I taught him that.
Anacin for towering headaches, yes.
I really do have dandruff, so I did it. I took the Dinerex test. Dinerex tingled. Head and shoulders, nothing.
All these have effective dandruff medicine, but Dinerex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
You won't see me scratching my head in Miami.
Dinerex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Our special forces are in full flight. We're coming by air and on the ground. Monday Night Football's taking over the town. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. It's gonna be a battle in the NFL tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday Night Party? Yes, sir. This is Hank, and my mission is to get this whole thing started. Here come the hits, the bangs, the blocks, and the spikes, 'cause all my rowdy friends drop in on Monday night. Get those helmets crashing, the crowd is psyched. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
And this plaque goes to the MVP of the Kickoff Classic for 1996. The only thing it's missing is the name. And we know that name. It's Curtis Enos, and he's wearing number 39. Curtis, congratulations. 27 carries, 241 yards. I told you that. It was the first time you smiled.
I was very happy with the way my linemen came out. They had their backs up against the wall the entire preseason, and there was a lot of questions since we lost a lot of good people. And they just came out and gave me a lot of good seams to run in, and I just want to dedicate that plaque to them, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do the things I was capable of doing today.
When I talked to you Saturday, you seemed confident. You wanted to show Joe Paterno and this team that you were ready to take on the responsibilities of their #1 tailback.
Yes, sir. I just want to come out and just play hard the way I've always played football. I love football with all my heart, and when I come out here and play, it's being out here and just enjoying yourself regardless of the situations. I just like to have fun and be around 10 other guys who feel the same way I do. And today, we just gelled together and just came together as a team.
You play a game like this, you have a little bit of nervous energy. When do you start to understand that you're in control of a ball game like this?
I really don't know when I'm in control. Only thing that I know that I'm in control of is how hard I run the ball. And I try to do that every time. And that's the only thing I control. I can't control what the defense is going to do. I can't control how the linemen are going to block. The only thing I control is how hard I'm going to run the ball, and I try to run it hard every time I get it in my hands.
I know from seeing you last year and play, you made a few mistakes when you were trying to make the adjustment. You wanted to play a mistake-free football game. You bounced a lot of linebackers around from USC. You were really physical with them.
Yes, sir. give all that credit to my strength and conditioning coach, JT Thomas. He really worked me hard this summer, and I wanted to be in really good shape and come in here and be able to carry the ball many times I did today and do positive things for the team. So, you know, bouncing off those linebackers, I give that credit to my strength coach, JT.
Now, keep in mind, you did start off at Penn State on defense. Would you like to go back to linebacker now?
If the coach has needed me there and it's the best thing for the team, I'd go back and do anything.
Curtis, tell me the truth.
No, seriously, that is the truth.
You know, one of the big things about this Kickoff Classic, it's the only game on. Everybody's watching. A lot of people who vote on awards at the end of the year, this might be the only game that they see. You've made an impression upon them. Was that important to you?
No, it wasn't important to me. The only thing that was really important to me is that our offensive unit came here today and answered a lot of questions that people have been asking. And I think we answered those, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them each game. Awards really don't mean anything to me. I just want to be able to come out here and hopefully put this team in position to win a Big Ten championship and possibly do some other things. And I just want to take one game at a time and just go from there.
All right, Curtis, thank you very much. Congratulations. It's a great start to 1996.
Thank you.
Keith?
Yeah, he could be something special. Boy.
Joe might come over to the locker room and says, "Kid, don't let this go to your head. We may work you at linebacker next week."
Yeah, he'll sit him by him all the way home.
Yeah.
Make sure he reads.
Good kid.
Well, in case you missed the ball game and have just arrived and you're wondering who in the world Curtis Enis is, it's spelled E-N-I-S. Curtis, you know how to spell that. He comes from Union City, Ohio. And this is what he can do. Have a look. He's a package on thunder and lightning. Bob was looking at it a while ago, and he made the comment that this could be Emmitt Smith in another 3 years.
Some of these things he did right there. Emmitt Smith, stocky, 6'1", 200.
To compete overseas, you can't go it alone. You need to be part of a team. A world-class competitor that's fast and well-trained.
Back live at Camp Randall Stadium, today you can tell the #1 ticket in town, Wisconsin against Penn State. Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
Well, Mark, it's a surprisingly sunny day here in Madison. A beautiful day. We expected rain earlier in the week, but it's absolutely gorgeous. A little bit windy, could affect the kicking game. We'll be following several stories, including, take a look at these. We'll look into the massive offensive line of the Badgers, the largest in the land. We'll show you the largest player in college football. You won't believe this guy's numbers. We'll monitor Penn State quarterback Wally Richardson, who must become more comfortable to reach his potential. And there's an ice cream battle off the field between Barry Alvarez and Joe Paterno. Mark, tell us about the coaches.
All right, Joe Paterno, 31 years as head coach at Penn State. Curious to find out just how good his team is this afternoon. And Barry Alvarez has been in Madison for 7 seasons. He told us a couple of days ago he would be very surprised if his team did not perform extremely well this afternoon. We are set for the kickoff. Penn State won the toss, has decided to defer. Wisconsin will be receiving. Kicking off is Brett Conway for the Nittany Lions, and back deep Aaron Stecker and Cecil Martin, and we are underway. Camp Randall ready to rock this afternoon. Stecker in the end zone, and Wisconsin will start off on its own 20-yard line. The starting quarterback for Wisconsin is Mike Samuel. He threw 3 interceptions last week against Stanford. That's a concern, John.
Yes, it is. 2 of those balls were tipped, though, Mark, and he's a guy that's got to make a lot of clear-cut decisions here today to run this offense. I think actually every week he's progressed as a quarterback.
6'3", 209-pound sophomore out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Wisconsin with its first series of the ball game. Both teams undefeated. McCullough and Martin in the backfield. Little waggle action. Martin open, and he can't find the handle. A poor throw by Samuel, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. Martin, one of the fullbacks in the backfield as we look at the Chili's backs and receivers. Carl McCullough, number 13, is the team's leading rusher.
Well, he had 98 yards last year against Penn State in this game, over 1,000 for the year, but they rotate the running backs for this team.
And up front, Jerry Wunsch, as in lunch.
He hasn't missed many meals. He's at 326. This line averages 308 pounds, and Dean Blevins will have more on this line later on.
We are in the cheese capital of the country. They give it to the tailback, That's Carl McCullough pounding forward to the 28-yard line for a gain of 8 yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 to go. Now let's take a look at this Penn State defense that has shut out its last 2 opponents. Brandon Noble, the leader up front.
And they've got to be concerned right away because that big Wisconsin front ran right at them, and that's where I think you can have most success against Penn State.
The secondary led by Brian Miller at the corner, a good one.
And he'll be matched up against 2 very tall and very speedy receivers here for Wisconsin.
It is 3rd down and 2 to go on the Badgers' opening possession of the game. 3 receivers in for Wisconsin, and they hand it off to McCullough, and he has got the 1st down, running over that big guard, all 305 pounds of him, Cayetano Castro, and Jerry Wunsch, the tackle. Brandon Noble made the tackle for Penn State. It's a 1st down.
Well, you know, Castro goes by the nickname Manny. I think we should just stick with that today. But they are awfully big. Cayetano Castro is out of New York, 305 pounds. And Jerry Wunsch, 326 on that right side. Good surge for the 1st down.
Backs out of the offset eye on 1st and 10. McCullough again off tackle. Over the right side out to the 35-yard line. Gain about 4.5 on the play. Nelson and Herring making the tackle for Penn State. It'll be 2nd down, about 6 to go for Wisconsin. Carl McCullough, the team's leading rusher a year ago, and this year so far.
And he's a long strider. You know, there's 3 different backs. They all have different styles today. Aaron Stecker will come in, and Rob Dane will come in, the sensational true freshman. But each one offers something a little bit different to this running game.
Samuel back to pass. This is Tony Simmons. Simmons with a 1st down at the 42-yard line. He was working on Mark Tate, number 33, the corner, who made the tackle.
Well, Tony Simmons was a bit of a question mark. He didn't practice the other day. He had a turned ankle. He's a track star. But it looks, at least in this, this ankle looks okay. A little hitch pattern up front. And this is the kind of things that Barry Alvarez wants out of his offense. Positive gains in the running game, quick, precise passes, not taking a lot of chances offensively.
Samuel coming out and running this team with the ball on the 41-yard line. Play fake. He was looking downfield and threw underneath, incomplete. Including last year, Wisconsin has won its last 4 Big Ten openers.
And that was quite a game last year. They held Penn State to their longest game of the day was 18 yards. And in many ways, it hurt Penn State's season. You lose that conference opener, and it can have a deflating effect on your team.
Darrell Bevel, the quarterback, had an outstanding day for Wisconsin last year. 3 wideouts on 2nd down and 10 to go. McCullough, the lone back. Little option package. McCullough trying to get to the perimeter, and he is brought down at the 48-yard line. So, John, a little different look that time by the Badgers with the option.
Well, you know, there's enough option, just enough in this package to allow a defense to prepare for this. And Samuel's a better athlete than Bevel was, so they can do this now with their offense. But it's just a quick option designed to get the pitch backside. McCullough does a nice job turning upfield. Now, as you know, when you have to prepare for an option package, you have to prepare for it in every defense you call. It takes a lot of time from your preparation during the week. And Wisconsin won't run that by 5 or 6 times this game.
That offensive line working its way down the field. Quick 3-step drop to the short side of the field. Firing complete to Hayes. And Hayes has another Badger 1st down. Nelson making the tackle for the Nittany Lions. As you look at the quarterback, Samuel, who is 3-0 as a starter.
And this is the kind of protection you like to get when these players can go wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. It's just a quick step by the quarterback. They shut everything off, get the hands down as best they can, and provide very good protection to Samuel. Quick passes so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of out and up slant and go or anything like that right now from this offense.
11:50 remaining in the 1st quarter. Wisconsin on the game's opening drive. Another option. McCullough gets the toss. And he is stopped up in a big way at the 41-yard line. Nelson and Filardi making the tackle. Let's go back to John Saunders in New York with an update on Colorado.
Mark, it's been a tough year in the Big 12 for Texas A&M. They're probably longing for the Southwest Conference. Today against Colorado, they fumble the opening kickoff, and Ray Caruth takes the ball 28 yards as Colorado goes to the offense and scores first to lead 7-0. Mark.
Boy, all right, John, what a disappointing season so far for the Texas A&M Aggies.
They've really run into it, haven't they, so far this year? Everything's gone wrong that possibly could.
Samuel, complete to Martin out of the backfield at the 38-yard line.
Pass complete to Cecil Martin.
Cecil Martin out of Evanston, Illinois. Brought down by Brian Miller on the play. John, so far on this opening drive by Wisconsin, Mike Samuel, the quarterback, has been very poised.
He has. The first attempt, nobody was really open. There was a screen pass. He threw the ball away. But when he has open receivers, he's been able to hit them. And this is a Wisconsin drive. Just keep the chains moving, work on the clock, and they're already into their 11th play of this drive.
And this is 3rd down and 5 to go. Samuel's receiver falls down, and Samuel makes a nice move. Oh! The sophomore with a little shake and bake on Mark Tate, and he gets the first down.
Here's why Samuel had to pull the ball down. Penn State's tired of giving away the short passes. They play tough bump and run. Look what Brian Miller does to Hayes. Throws him down. That's where Samuel wanted to go with the football. He says, you know what, I can't throw to a guy that's on his back. I better take this thing down and run with it.
The coach has told us that's one of his strengths. He can make something out of nothing, a better runner than his predecessor, Darrell Bevel. 1st down and 10 after that 12-yard gain, and McCullough is rocked. He got his world rocked at the 32-yard line by Aaron Collins. AC working on direct current, DC that time. Flag down, though, at the 29-yard line. Our official today, the man with the white hat, Steve Payman.
That's a penalty against Wisconsin. You know, I'm looking at Samuel there, and he's on that previous run. He might have taken a hit. He looks like he's winded a little bit, doesn't he? Bent over. And that's one thing that coaches have been concerned about. He has a linebacker mentality that certainly endears him to his fellow offensive linemen and other tough guys on that offense, but he's got to take care of himself and the football.
In the name of longevity, John, I would suggest that maybe he reconsider that stance.
That's right.
Look at our officials once again this afternoon. Here's the call.
Illegal block in the back, offense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, replay, 1st down.
So they move it back to the 39-yard line after the infraction. 1st and 10. Kevin Lyles and another tight end, Eric Grams, into the ball game for Wisconsin. Martin and McCullough are the backs. 1st down and 23 to go. Backside of the eye. Simmons split to the bottom of your screen. They run the draw, and there's absolutely nothing happening on that play. McCullough brought down at the 41-yard line by Fornato.
Yeah, Matt Fornato came in from the outside on a stunt. That's one thing, you know, this defensive line for Penn State is so outmanned. They're giving up a lot of poundage up front, so they're going to rotate players through, but also they're going to play a stunting kind of defense where they're shooting gaps and taking chances defensively. They can't simply just play head up and try to play off the offensive line for the Badgers.
Their biggest guy, as we mentioned, just 260 pounds up front. 2nd down, and Chippewa Falls to go. Underneath to the tight end, Lyles, who's run out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Aaron Collins. That's the guy we're going to hear a lot from this afternoon. And Lyles, number 9, making the reception.
He's a former quarterback who was given the opportunity a couple of years ago to compete with the good running backs they have here or to switch positions. He thought about transferring out, and finally he said, you know what, I'm going to stay here and play tight end, and he got his break when Ryan Sundrup, who started against UNLV, got hurt. Now he's the starting tight end. He bulked up to about 260 pounds. That's not quarterback weight.
Not at all. They put his bed in the weight room. 9:28 remaining in the 1st quarter. 3rd down and 14. Out of the backfield, that's McCullough, who's got butterfingers on that one.
I think you'll notice one thing about this offense for Wisconsin, and that is they cannot self-destruct. They're not enough of a firepower offensively to be able to overcome 1st and 23s or 2nd and 27s and that kind of thing. They have to just have positive gains on 1st down and minimize the mistakes.
And now to the adventures of John Hall, the place kicker for Wisconsin. Last week against Stanford, he missed 2 field goals. And there's a look at the pensive place kicker and the vocal head coach, Barry Alvarez. We'll be right back.
In an age of streamlining and downsizing, Chili's still makes its Big Mouth burgers by hand, one at a time, by a person. What this lacks in efficiency is more than made up for in taste. Chili's Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
Play football at Chili's this season. In every restaurant, you can win 2 round-trip tickets on Southwest Airlines to anywhere they fly, a football or Chili's Big Mouth burgers, all just for playing.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
If you were to make a list of the safest towns in America, at the top of that list would be Eau Claire, Wisconsin. If you were to make a list of cars with the most standard safety features for the money, at the top of that list would be the Chevy Cavalier. So if you lived in Eau Claire and you drove a Cavalier, would that make you one of the safest people in America? Probably not, but it's a good start.
Genuine Chevrolet.
The cars more Americans trust.
It's a big Big Ten battle when Penn State invades Ohio State, or other regional games featuring Nebraska, Virginia, and USC next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Jerry Sandusky's defense, John, bending but not breaking on this drive.
Well, you know, this reminds me last week against Temple. They gave up a lot of yards early. Sandusky makes a lot of adjustments, and he does here. Look at his defense so far, only 7 points in 4 games. 9th in total defense, only 1 touchdown in 16 quarters down here at the bottom. And we'll see if they're going to give up some points here or not.
John Hall from 47 yards out. He's 2 of 4 on the year. And he has been inconsistent. This one is right down to Pike. It's the first points allowed by Penn State in 10 quarters. Much to the delight of head coach Barry Alvarez. On a sunny, breezy Saturday afternoon in Madison, the Badgers lead it 3-0.
Someday, my office will have a window. Someday, my boss will be me. Someday, I will meet the man of my dreams. Guess not today.
The Chevy Camaro's 200 horsepower 3800 V6. Therapeutic, isn't it?
Let's see. About 6 billion people on Earth. Less than half with phones. Most without cellular. Even fewer on internet. Just discovered life on Mars. Got work to do. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
And now from Paris. From Milan. From St. Louis.
Introducing a new look from Budweiser. Born on dating. It's the day your Bud was born, because fresh beer tastes better.
Nice label.
Thanks.
College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Just underway in Madison. I'm Mark Jones in the house, along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. And right now, John Hall getting set to kick off.
He has to feel pretty good about that field goal. You know, his own team called a timeout. Usually the other team tries to ice you with a timeout. But here they were a little confused offensively, and Hall put it through the uprights after missing 2 last week. One from 43 where he hit the upright, one from 51 yards where he shanked it badly. So Alvarez is concerned about his kicker. So far, so good today.
Hall putting in long, arduous work over the summer at kicking rehab down in Florida. At the 1-yard line, it's Mitchell. And they're ready to rock the house here in Madison. Daryl Carter making the tackle, and this is the starting quarterback for Penn State. Wally Richardson completing just 47% of his passes. A little disappointing, John.
Yes, that's right. He's been inconsistent so far this year. He shares some of the blame, but I think more of the blame goes to the receivers than with Wally Richardson.
Still trying to work out the kinks and get that all-important chemistry developed between quarterbacks and receivers.
And this is the adversity Joe Paterno was looking for.
Pro set, Curtis Enos, number 39, runs for about 7 on that play on 1st and 10. David Lysick making the tackle, the 6'2 junior from Bethlehem, PA. And a look at the Chili's backs and receivers. Number 83, Joe Jurevicius, the leading receiver for Penn State.
He wanted to be the go-to guy this year. He had to wait behind Freddie Scott and Bobby Ingram, and he is the go-to guy. And if you want to follow the football today, follow number 64, Phil Ostrowski. He'll take you there 9 times out of 10 today. This is an offensive line that's only had 1 penalty for false starts this year. They're very disciplined.
Working against the swarming Wisconsin Badger defense, Enos showing you his strength and agility, bouncing off 2 would-be tacklers out near the 1st down marker at the 28. And there's a look at the Badger defense. Tarek Saleh, the guy to watch.
He had a monster game last week against Stanford with 3 sacks. Just needs 3 more sacks and he'll break the school record here.
And the DB's much improved this season.
Jason Suttle, I like him a lot. I mean, this is a guy who hits you, who plays great pass defense, and he comes up with big plays. He's one of those guys that have a knack for big plays.
Enos got the 1st down. It's 1st and 10. The nose of the ball for Penn State on the 28-yard line. Little bootleg action. Richardson is going to run himself. He tripped over the 32-yard line, fell forward to the 36. He'll be about 2.5 yards shy of the 1st down. 8 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Penn State on its opening possession, and that is Carter, the linebacker for the Wisconsin Badgers, number 19 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Last year against Wisconsin, Wally Richardson had a career day. 33 completions, a school record. 2nd down and 2 after that Richardson run. Backs out of the eye, Nastasi in motion. Here comes their version of Superman, and he's about to fly. Enos pushed out of the bounds.